Stop scrolling for just a moment. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to consider a powerful possibility. That you're here, right now, feeling the deep ache of separation from someone you thought would always be close. Your mom. Perhaps you've wrestled with the feeling that something precious has been torn from you, that a bond you once relied upon seems distant or unreachable. And yet, what if this distance, this undeniable gap, is not random? What if it is part of a divine design, carefully woven into the fabric of your life, not as a punishment, but as a path to something greater? The pain you carry, the isolation that weighs on your heart, it may not be as meaningless as it feels in your darkest moments. Every tear you've shed, every moment of loneliness, could be a refining fire, sent not to break you down but to shape you for a unique purpose that no one else can fulfill. God may have set you apart, chosen you for something so powerful that it requires a strength and resilience forged only through difficulty. This isn't the path everyone else walks, and maybe it isn't supposed to be. Have you ever considered that every hardship, every painful memory, has been like stepping stones leading you toward a destiny that only God can fully see? When we feel abandoned or misunderstood, it's natural to wonder if there's any purpose in it all. But what if these very struggles are the groundwork for a future that requires a unique type of strength, a strength few can understand, because few have walked this same path? Since childhood, you may have felt a unique distance, a chasm between you and your mother, something so deep, it often seemed unbridgeable. While others around you shared moments of warmth and comfort with their families, perhaps you found yourself standing on the outside, feeling the ache of loneliness and questioning why you felt so alone. It's a feeling that is difficult to explain and even harder to carry, making you wonder if you are somehow unworthy or undeserving of love and acceptance. But what if this distance, this feeling of separation, was never a sign of abandonment or rejection? What if it was instead an indication of something profound, a signal that God has chosen you for a special purpose that requires a path unlike any other? This isn't a punishment. It's preparation. God is not keeping you away from love. He's carving out space for a love far beyond human understanding. He's stripping away earthly distractions to prepare you to fully receive His purpose. Through the absence, He speaks with clarity, drawing you closer to Him. From a young age, you may have sensed that your path was different, marked by a unique calling that set you apart from others. While many around you found their strength and identity within the warmth of family bonds, you felt a deeper pull, a divine nudge guiding you to lean solely on God. This sense of separation may have felt isolating at times, but it was never a mark of weakness or inadequacy. Instead, it was God's way of building a strength in you that could only come through solitude and dependence on Him alone. Think of this isolation as a training ground, much like that of a warrior being prepared for a mission that requires focus, resilience, and unbreakable faith. In solitude, a warrior is stripped of comforts, left with only the essentials, so that strength and skill can be honed without distraction. In the same way, God has allowed this space of separation in your life, removing certain attachments so that you can rely fully on Him. He is stripping away any dependencies that might hinder your calling, ensuring that your faith is anchored firmly in Him. Through this experience, God is teaching you resilience, a deep inner strength that does not waver under pressure. Each moment of solitude becomes a lesson, each challenge a stepping stone, building within you the character and endurance necessary for the higher purpose He has in store. This process may feel isolating, but it is a sacred preparation, a refining season where God is shaping you to stand strong, fully reliant on His guidance and grace. You are being prepared for something extraordinary, something that requires you to walk a path less traveled. God is calling you to trust Him deeply, to find your identity, your strength, and your purpose in Him alone. In this space of separation, He is forming you into someone who can withstand trials, rise above challenges, and fulfill a calling that goes beyond the ordinary. This path may be different, but it is designed with divine intention, preparing you to step into a life marked by purpose and guided by His unfailing hand. The love you've longed for, the family connection you may have envied in others. It's not that God ignored your need. He saw it and chose to fill it Himself with a love that is perfect, unchanging, and unfailing. He needed you free from the limitations of earthly attachment because your calling requires a different kind of strength. Others may find comfort in constant affirmation, but you've been sustained by something deeper, the unshakable power of God's love. Picture yourself on a battlefield, a soldier trained in isolation for a war you may not have fully understood. While others leaned on their mothers, you learned to fight alone. In the emptiness left by human absence, you discovered a divine fullness, a love that doesn't fade, a connection that doesn't break. Every tear, every sleepless night spent questioning your worth. These were all part of a grander plan to prepare you for a strength and resilience others cannot match. Your mother's distance, her absence, was not an accident. Each struggle, each wordless conflict, each cold silence, they were tools, divine chisels breaking away the unnecessary to reveal the masterpiece within. You were not just hurt, you were sharpened. Every argument, every cutting remark, every emotional sabotage was a lesson in standing firm. Through these challenges, God was cultivating within you a resilience that runs deep. He was teaching you not to be easily swayed, preparing you to hold steadfastly to your identity and purpose, even when faced with opposition. The adversity wasn't meant to crush you, but to build within you an unwavering strength and a profound sense of self that could only emerge through the fire. In every hurt, there was a refining, a way to transform the pain into power, the wounds into wisdom, and to reveal the strength God always saw in you. The pain you felt wasn't meant to define you, but to refine you. Your struggles with your mother weren't just personal. They were cosmic clashes, battles between who you are called to be and who the world would have you remain. Perhaps you were wounded by criticism that seemed relentless, by manipulations that twisted your heart, by coldness that left you questioning your worth. These were not random hardships. They were intentional wounds meant to prepare you for a purpose far beyond the ordinary. Through these wounds, God has forged an armor around you. Others may falter under the weight of life's pressures, but you have already endured the furnace's heat, and it has only made you stronger. This is why your path has been different, harder. You were never meant to lean on human validation. God needed you to seek your worth in Him alone. Your identity isn't tied to earthly approval, but is rooted in the Creator who shaped you with divine purpose. The strained words, the unspoken coldness, they were chisels that shaped you, removing parts that would hinder your calling. Through the pain, God was strengthening you, making you resilient, unbreakable. You may have felt abandoned, but in reality, God was present, molding you into a vessel for His work. Every tear, every lonely moment served as a sacred tool, refining you into who you were meant to be. Perhaps you've wondered, why? Why did the relationship with your mother seem so fraught with pain, as if it was destined to leave a lasting ache? The answer, though complex in feeling, is both simple and profound. God never intended for your sense of self, your identity, to be shaped by her approval or acceptance. Her role in your life, with all its imperfections and limitations, was never meant to be the foundation of your worth or the lens through which you see yourself. Instead, her limitations were a divine sign, a reminder of the insufficiency of earthly relationships and of the way human bonds can fall short. Each moment of distance, each unmet need, was gently guiding you toward something far greater, toward Him. God used the limitations in your relationship with your mother to reveal a powerful truth. Human connections, as meaningful as they are, cannot be the ultimate source of our identity or worth. While others may have found their confidence or validation within family bonds, God had a different path in mind for you. He allowed this distance not as punishment, but as preparation. gently leading you to discover that your true value comes from Him alone. He wanted you to know that your identity is firmly rooted in His love, a love that is constant, complete, and unfailing. In those moments when you sought validation from her and were met with disappointment, God was drawing you closer, teaching you to find your security and purpose in Him. This separation is not a mark of failure or loss. It is a sacred invitation to be grounded in something more lasting than any human relationship. God has called you to a unique journey, one that begins with Him and finds its fulfillment in His purpose for your life. Perhaps you've wondered, why? Why did the relationship with your mother seem so fraught with pain, as if it was destined to leave a lasting ache? The answer, though complex in feeling, is both simple and profound. God never intended for your sense of self, your identity, to be shaped by her approval or acceptance. Her role in your life, with all its imperfections and limitations, was never meant to be the foundation of your worth or the lens through which you see yourself. Instead, her limitations were a divine sign, a reminder of the insufficiency of earthly relationships and of the way human bonds can fall short. Each moment of distance, each unmet need, was gently guiding you toward something far greater, toward Him. God used the limitations in your relationship with your mother to reveal a powerful truth. Human connections, as meaningful as they are, cannot be the ultimate source of our identity or worth. While others may have found their confidence or validation within family bonds, God had a different path in mind for you. He allowed this distance not as punishment, but as preparation, gently leading you to discover that your true value comes from Him alone. He wanted you to know that your identity is firmly rooted in His love, a love that is constant, complete, and unfailing. In those moments when you sought validation from her and were met with disappointment, God was drawing you closer, teaching you to find your security and purpose in Him. This separation is not a mark of failure or loss. It is a sacred invitation to be grounded in something more lasting than any human relationship. God has called you to a unique journey, one that begins with Him and finds its fulfillment in His purpose for your life. This separation, this divine pruning, is God's way of preparing you for the next level. It may feel like isolation, but it's the sacred ground where transformation happens. God has stripped away earthly ties that once defined you, removing anything that could limit the purpose He has in mind for you. Every moment of separation, every tear, is a tool in God's hands, shaping you into a vessel strong enough to carry His purpose. Think of yourself as metal, heated and hammered to become unbreakable. This process is not punishment, it's refinement, burning away vulnerabilities that could hinder your mission. The relationships that once defined you, that may have even limited you, are being removed. You are being promoted to a higher calling that demands more from you than you could ever have imagined. In the spaces left by human absence, God's presence becomes undeniable and profoundly comforting. Where earthly love may have faltered, God's love fills every empty corner, reaching into the depths of your heart in ways no human connection ever could. The voids left by relationships that may have fallen short were never meant to remain empty. They are intentional spaces designed for God to fill, to demonstrate that His love alone is all-encompassing and sufficient to meet your every need. God has not allowed this separation or distance to harm you, but has instead used it as an invitation to draw you nearer to Him. The limitations of your earthly mother, her inability to meet every emotional or spiritual need, are not reflections of any inadequacy in you. Rather, they are gentle reminders that your deepest needs were always meant to be fulfilled by your Heavenly Father. The love you seek, the security you crave, and the understanding that often feels elusive are all perfectly found in Him. This separation highlights a sacred truth, that God's role in your life is unique and irreplaceable. Where human relationships are bound by limitations and imperfections, God's love remains unwavering, endlessly patient, and without condition. Through this experience, He is showing you that your worth and identity are rooted in Him, not in the validation or understanding of others. In every space where human love could not reach, God's presence grows stronger, filling your life with a love that heals, sustains, and affirms your true value. He is drawing you closer, teaching you to depend on Him completely, and showing you that He alone can fulfill the desires of your heart in ways that are eternal, pure, and boundless. God wanted your dependence to be on Him alone, not diluted by human affections. Through every tear, every moment of silence, He was building in you a spiritual resilience, a strength that is anchored in an unshakable foundation. This separation isn't a punishment or a mark of failure. It's a divine calling to rely on God alone. You are chosen, set apart, refined through every moment of loneliness and heartache. This separation is proof of your calling. It's a divine preparation, a sacred crucible where God has been molding you into the vessel He needs. Your pain isn't in vain. It's a testimony, a witness to the work God is doing within you. Embrace this truth. Walk boldly in the knowledge that your story is part of a grand design. Let your journey, your growth, be a light for others who feel the weight of separation. In every hardship, trust that God's plan is perfect, that He is using every moment to shape you for a purpose beyond what you can see. Step forward with courage, knowing that you are not defined by the wounds of the past, but by the divine calling that marks your life. From the very moment you are born again, an invisible battle begins to rage around you. Forces you cannot see, dark powers led by Satan and his fallen angels, immediately begin to take notice. Their eyes are fixed upon you, day and night, plotting ways to bring you down. You might wonder why. You may ask yourself, what have I done to deserve such hostility? It's a natural question, especially when you believe you've done nothing wrong. Yet the answer is profoundly simple. You are a child of God, and because of that alone, Satan hates you. Satan's fall from heaven did not occur in isolation. When he rebelled against God, 1/3 of the heavenly angels fell with him, becoming the spiritual forces that now wage war against humanity. These forces are not just passively observing, they are actively involved in a cosmic struggle. And the moment you become born again, you find yourself at the center of this eternal conflict. This battle, however, is not merely about you. It is about God, about His love for you, and about the divine purpose He has placed upon your life. Satan knows something that many new believers may not fully realize. God loves you with a boundless, immeasurable love. To Satan, this love is unbearable. He knows he cannot harm God directly, so the only way to lash out at the Almighty is by attacking those whom God loves, His children. The Bible teaches that you are the apple of God's eye. This means that every time Satan looks at you, he is reminded of God's love, a love so profound that God sent His only Son to die for you. Jesus Christ endured the ultimate humiliation and pain on the cross, all for your salvation. This truth is what fuels Satan's fury. He knows that it is because of you that God took on human flesh. It is because of you that Jesus was crucified. And it is because of you that Satan's doom is sealed. Every time he sees you walking in the light of Christ, he sees the very evidence of his defeat. Therefore, his hatred towards you is not personal. It is a direct reflection of his hatred towards God. Your salvation and your relationship with Christ represent everything Satan has lost, and everything he can never reclaim. The spiritual battle is ongoing, relentless, and will continue until the day you leave this earth. Yet, it is crucial to understand that while Satan may hate you, he cannot easily destroy you. Why? Because you are under divine protection. The moment you become born again, a series of supernatural events takes place in the spiritual realm. You may not see it or feel it, but it is very real. God places a protective seal upon you, and you are surrounded by His angels who are tasked with guarding you on all sides. Psalm 91, 11-12 reminds us that God has commanded His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. These angels are not mere symbolic beings. They are powerful, sent by God to ensure that Satan's plans against you do not succeed. Yet, despite this protection, the enemy will still try to attack. His strategy may not always be a frontal assault. Instead, he often resorts to subtle means: deception, temptation, and discouragement. Ephesians 6:12 tells us that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers, authorities, and spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. This means that every day, even though you may not be aware of it, there is a battle being fought for your soul. These forces of darkness are constantly probing for weaknesses, looking for ways to bring you down. The devil prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. But here is the good news. Though the battle is fierce, victory is already yours through Christ. The nature of this battle is spiritual, invisible to the physical eye, but no less real than any struggle you might face in the material world. Unlike human conflicts where you can see your adversary, this spiritual warfare takes place in the unseen realms, where demonic forces work tirelessly to exploit your vulnerabilities, your fears, doubts, and weaknesses. These forces are organized with levels of hierarchy, as the verse in Ephesians implies: rulers, authorities, and powers, all part of a dark and structured kingdom that seeks to pull you away from God's purpose for your life. The enemy's tactics are subtle, often disguised in everyday challenges, temptation, discouragement, and distractions that seem harmless at first, but are designed to lead you away from God's will. You may find yourself battling negative thoughts, deep anxieties, or constant doubts about your faith. These are not just random occurrences. They are the devil's calculated attempts to weaken your resolve, steal your peace, and dim the light of Christ within you. Every whisper of condemnation, every seed of insecurity, every moment of despair is an arrow from the enemy, aimed at destabilizing your spiritual foundation. But here's the encouraging truth. Though the devil prowls like a lion, he is a defeated foe. His roar may be loud, but his power is limited. When Christ died on the cross and rose from the grave, he disarmed the spiritual rulers and authorities, making a public spectacle of them and triumphing over them. Your victory has already been secured by the blood of Jesus, and Satan knows this. He knows that his time is short, and that his influence is temporary, which is why he fights so fiercely. He is desperate, but desperation is not strength. Because of Christ's victory, you are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. This distinction is crucial. The battle has already been won on your behalf. Your role is to stand firm in the truth of what Christ has accomplished, to claim the victory that is yours, and to live in the authority that has been granted to you as a child of God. You are not defenseless in this battle. God has provided you with spiritual armor, as outlined in Ephesians 6:13-18. The belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Each piece of this armor is designed to protect you and empower you to stand against the schemes of the enemy. The belt of truth holds everything together, reminding you of the unshakable truth of God's Word. The breastplate of righteousness guards your heart, protecting your soul from the enemy's accusations and lies. The shield of faith allows you to extinguish the fiery arrows of doubt and fear that Satan constantly throws your way. The helmet of salvation secures your mind, giving you the confidence and assurance that your salvation is certain and cannot be taken away. And the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, is your offensive weapon, cutting through the enemy's lies and declaring the truth of who you are in Christ. It is essential to remember that while you are equipped for battle, your greatest weapon is not your own strength or effort, but the presence of God within you. The Bible tells us in James 4:7, "Submit yourselves then to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." The power to overcome the enemy comes not from striving, but from submitting to God, relying on his strength, and resting in the finished work of Christ. When you surrender to God and resist the devil, you tap into the victory that has already been won for you. You may ask, how does Satan even know when I'm born again? The answer is found in the light of God that now shines within you. The Bible speaks of this light as an unmistakable, radiant presence. In John 1:9 it says, "The true light, which gives light to everyone, was coming into the world." This light is not just a metaphor. It is a spiritual reality that becomes visible to the forces in the spiritual realm. When you become born again, you move from darkness into light. This light is the Holy Spirit dwelling within you. To those who are spiritually dead, those still in darkness, this light is not visible. But to Satan and his agents, this light is like a beacon, announcing to the spiritual realm that you belong to Christ. This is why the enemy takes notice of you. You have moved from being an ordinary person to becoming a light bearer, a child of God who radiates divine power. Jesus himself declared that you are the light of the world, a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. Your spiritual identity is unmistakable, and it is this identity that marks you as a target in the enemy's eyes. Yet this light is also your greatest defense. The darkness can never overcome it. As long as you continue to walk in the light, staying close to Christ, the enemy cannot extinguish the flame that burns within you. Beyond the light that radiates from within, there is another layer of protection that God places upon his children, the seal of the Holy Spirit. This seal is not something you can see with physical eyes, but in the spiritual realm, it is a visible and undeniable mark of God's ownership and protection over you. Ephesians 1:13-14 tells us that when you heard the word of truth and believed in Christ, you were sealed with the promised Holy Spirit. This seal serves as a guarantee of your inheritance, a mark that says, "This one belongs to God." To Satan and his forces, this seal is a sign that you are off limits. Just as a royal seal on a letter in ancient times indicated the authority and protection of the king, so does this divine seal signify that you are under God's jurisdiction. Satan knows this, and while he may try to attack, he is fully aware that he cannot easily harm you. The book of Job provides a powerful illustration of this reality. In Job 1:9-10, Satan acknowledges that God had placed a hedge of protection around Job, his household, and everything he owned. This hedge made it nearly impossible for Satan to touch Job without God's permission. In the same way, you carry a similar hedge of protection. Every day, as you go about your life, whether driving to work or resting at home, there is a divine shield surrounding you. Angels accompany you, ensuring that no harm befalls you. And this protection is not because of anything you've done, but because of God's unfathomable love and grace. Another critical aspect of your spiritual defense is the fire of God that surrounds you. When John the Baptist spoke of Jesus, he said, "He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire." This fire is not symbolic. It is a real and powerful force that burns within and around every believer. It is the consuming fire of God's presence that no power of darkness can withstand. When you are born again, this divine fire begins to surround you, forming an impenetrable barrier between you and the forces of evil. As long as you remain in Christ, this fire continues to burn brightly, and no dark force can cross its threshold. Just as fire repels and consumes, so does this spiritual fire repel the enemy's attacks. This is why, no matter how hard the enemy tries, his arrows cannot touch you. He can plan, he can attack, but he cannot succeed. Consider the story of the prophet Elijah in 2 Kings 6:17. When surrounded by enemy forces, Elijah's servant panicked, but Elijah prayed for God to open his servant's eyes. When the servant looked again, he saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around them. This story is a powerful reminder of the unseen forces of divine protection that surround God's people. You may not always see it, but you are surrounded by the fire of God, protecting you from every assault of the enemy. Despite the overwhelming protection that God provides, many believers live in fear, unaware of the divine security they possess. This is often because they focus too much on the visible world and forget about the spiritual realities that govern their lives. It's easy to get caught up in the challenges and struggles of daily life, to become overwhelmed by fear, doubt, or discouragement. But this is exactly what the enemy wants. Satan thrives on ignorance and fear. He knows that if he can keep you unaware of your spiritual authority and protection, you will be more vulnerable to his attacks. The Bible tells us repeatedly not to fear, for the Lord is with us. Psalm 23:4 reminds us that even though we walk through the darkest valley, we should fear no evil, for God is with us. Yet so many believers live as though they are unprotected, as though they are at the mercy of the enemy. This is far from the truth. You are not an ordinary person. In the spiritual realm, you are a firebrand, a child of God filled with the Holy Spirit and surrounded by his angels. The enemy sees this, even if you don't. What's striking is how often believers forget the incredible spiritual reality that surrounds them. You are not just a physical being. You are a spiritual warrior, equipped with the full authority of Christ, and this truth terrifies the enemy. Satan would have you believe that you are vulnerable, that you are weak, that you are just another soul wandering in the chaos of this world. He will whisper lies of fear and doubt into your mind, attempting to blind you to the profound power and protection that God has placed over you. However, this is a deception, for your spiritual identity is far greater than you realize. In the heavenly realms, you are recognized as a son or daughter of the Most High, carrying within you the very presence of God through the Holy Spirit. The Bible declares that God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. This means that fear is never your portion. When you walk in faith, covered by God's presence, fear cannot take hold of you. The enemy knows this, which is why he tries so hard to instill fear, because fear is the antithesis of faith. Where there is fear, faith weakens, and where faith weakens, the enemy finds opportunities to attack. The key to maintaining your protection and living in victory lies in your relationship with Christ. As long as you abide in Him, the light within you will continue to shine brightly, and the fire of God will continue to surround you. However, this does not mean you can become complacent. The enemy is always looking for opportunities to exploit any weaknesses in your armor. This is why the Bible urges us to put on the full armor of God. Your spiritual armor includes the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God. Each piece of this armor is essential in defending against the enemy's attacks. But more importantly, prayer is the key to activating and maintaining this armor. It is through constant communion with God that your protection is strengthened. Satan fears a praying believer. Even the simplest prayers you make cause havoc in his kingdom. Every time you pray, you are reinforcing the divine hedge that surrounds you. You are reminding the enemy that you are not alone, that you have the backing of heaven itself. This is why prayer is one of the most powerful weapons in the spiritual battle. The spiritual battle you face is real, but it is not one you fight alone. From the moment you become born again, God surrounds you with His protection, His light, His fire, and His angels. Satan knows this, and while he may hate you, he cannot easily touch you. Your life is hidden in Christ, and as long as you remain in Him, no weapon formed against you will prosper. As you walk through this life, remember that you are not just an ordinary person. You are a light in a dark world, a beacon of hope, and a testament to the power of God's love. The forces of darkness may try to attack, but they will never prevail. You are protected, you are loved, and you are victorious in Christ. So do not live in fear or doubt. Stand firm in your faith, knowing that you are surrounded by the fire of God. May you continue to shine brightly in this generation, and may the light within you grow ever stronger as you walk in the truth of who you are in Christ. God bless you. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. If you found this message uplifting, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing it with others so we can continue spreading the light of God's truth together. Blessings to you all. Have you ever had the feeling that something or someone is watching over you, guiding and protecting you in ways you can't quite explain? Perhaps it's in those fleeting moments of clarity when everything falls into place, or in the comforting warmth that floods your heart when you need it most. While we may not always be aware of it, many spiritual traditions teach us that we are never truly alone. Hidden from our physical senses but ever present in our lives, there exist forces of love and protection, guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestral spirits, and even divine energy that watch over us with unwavering care. In this world, bustling with distractions, the presence of these invisible guardians often goes unnoticed. Yet, their influence is undeniable for those attuned to it. These unseen protectors serve as our spiritual cheerleaders, helping us navigate life's complexities and transitions, especially during times of significant change or personal growth. Think of them as the loving hands that guide you through life's most challenging moments, providing comfort, wisdom, and protection when you need it most. Across cultures and spiritual traditions, there is a shared belief in beings that exist beyond our physical senses, acting as protectors and guides for humanity. In Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, these beings are often referred to as angels, messengers of God who carry out divine will and safeguard the souls of the faithful. In other belief systems, such as shamanism or certain indigenous traditions, the guardians may take the form of spirit animals, ancestors, or celestial beings who watch over individuals and guide them toward enlightenment. Regardless of how they are named or depicted, these entities are united by their purpose to support, protect, and guide us on our spiritual journey. They are the benevolent forces that steer us away from harm, help us make crucial decisions, and offer comfort in moments of despair. They may appear to us in dreams, through intuitive nudges, or even as quiet whispers in moments of reflection. Although they operate in the unseen realms, their presence is felt through the miraculous ways our lives unfold. One of the most significant challenges in connecting with these spiritual guardians is recognizing the signs they send. Their communication is often subtle, not because they wish to be elusive, but because it requires us to heighten our awareness and attune ourselves to their frequency. Here are some of the most common ways that these unseen forces make themselves known. Synchronicity, a term popularized by psychologist Carl Jung, refers to the meaningful coincidences that seem to defy explanation. Have you ever experienced something happening at just the right time? Perhaps you were thinking about an old friend, only to receive a call or message from them moments later. Or maybe you were feeling lost or overwhelmed, and out of nowhere, a solution presented itself, a person, a book, or a signpost that pointed you in the right direction. These synchronicities are not random. They are the handiwork of your spiritual guardians. They work behind the scenes, aligning events in your life to ensure that you are where you need to be, when you need to be there. Divine timing is their way of orchestrating life's events to nudge you forward on your path. When you start noticing these moments, it's a sign that you are being watched over, guided by forces that understand the bigger picture of your life. Your intuition is one of the primary channels through which your spiritual protectors communicate with you. Have you ever had a gut feeling that led you to make a certain decision, even when logic pointed in the opposite direction? That inner voice, often subtle yet persistent, is a direct link to your guardians. They use intuition to guide you toward the right path, warning you when something doesn't feel right and encouraging you to take action when the timing is ideal. Tuning into your intuition is like developing a deep inner relationship with your soul's wisdom. It requires mindfulness, patience, and above all, trust. In the beginning, those subtle nudges may seem faint, almost like a whisper in the background of your thoughts. But the more you honor and pay attention to these feelings, the stronger your connection becomes. It's about creating space for stillness, where the noise of the outside world quiets down, allowing your inner voice to be heard. As you continue to practice, you'll notice a profound shift within yourself. Those intuitive hunches that once seemed random or coincidental will reveal themselves as the purposeful guidance of your higher self. or even the whispers of your unseen protectors. Angels, spirit guides, or ancestors, gently steering you toward choices that align with your highest good. These spiritual beings work behind the scenes, placing signs, synchronicities, and inner promptings in your path to help you grow, heal, and fulfill your soul's purpose. With time, as your trust deepens, you'll begin to recognize this guidance as a form of divine communication, a sacred partnership between you and the universe. It is a gift that reminds you that you are never alone, that there is always a source of wisdom available to you if only you choose to listen. In honoring your intuition, you honor the divine presence within yourself, and in doing so, your life naturally begins to flow with greater harmony, peace, and alignment. Each step you take in this direction builds a stronger, more profound connection to the divine guidance that's always available, guiding you toward your highest potential. While we sleep, our conscious mind is at rest, allowing the subconscious to take over. This is often when we are most receptive to receiving messages from the spiritual realm. Guardian angels and spirit guides may appear in dreams to offer comfort, wisdom, or warnings about future events. In many spiritual traditions, dreams are seen as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. During sleep, our conscious mind steps aside, allowing the soul to connect more deeply with higher realms of wisdom. Paying attention to recurring symbols, feelings, or people in your dreams can provide valuable insights into the messages your deity are sending you. For example, specific symbols like animals, water, or light may represent deeper truths or spiritual lessons that are relevant to your current life situation. Similarly, encountering loved ones who have passed on can be a way for them to offer comfort or deliver important messages. If you wake up with a sense of clarity, peace, or a profound realization, it could be a sign that your guardians are communicating with you, helping you make sense of the challenges or decisions you're facing. Even unsettling dreams may carry hidden lessons, nudging you to pay attention to areas of your life that need healing or change. The key is to approach your dreams with an open heart, trusting that your spiritual protectors are using this sacred space to guide, protect, and uplift your soul on its journey. By keeping a dream journal and reflecting on recurring themes, you can unlock deeper layers of spiritual insight and receive the guidance intended just for you. Sometimes, the presence of spiritual protectors manifests physically. Have you ever felt a sudden warmth in your chest or a tingling sensation that made you stop and take notice? These physical sensations can be gentle reminders from your guides that they are near. Some people report feeling a sense of lightness, as if a weight has been lifted, or experiencing an inexplicable sense of calm in moments of stress. In addition to physical sensations, you may also notice signs in your external environment. Feathers, coins, certain animals, or numbers that appear repeatedly, such as 1111 or 444, are often cited as symbols of angelic or spiritual presence. These small yet significant signs are like winks from the universe, letting you know that you are being watched over and supported. While not every sign from our spiritual guardians will be miraculous in the conventional sense, there are times when we encounter events that seem too extraordinary to be mere coincidence. These might be moments of pure serendipity, an encounter or opportunity that changes the course of your life in ways you couldn't have imagined. Or they may be miraculous in nature, such as a sudden recovery from illness or surviving a near-fatal accident unscathed. These moments, rare and precious, are clear indicators that you are being guided and protected by forces beyond human comprehension. They serve as reminders that even in our darkest moments, we are never truly alone. While your spiritual guardians are always present, your ability to sense and connect with them can be greatly enhanced through mindful practice. By cultivating daily rituals that promote spiritual awareness, you open the door to a deeper connection with the subtle energies that guide and protect you. One of the most profound ways to attune yourself to these unseen forces is through mindfulness and meditation. When we quiet our thoughts and invite stillness, we create space to receive the gentle whispers of our guides. Meditation allows us to rise above the noise of daily life and enter a state of inner peace where their presence becomes more tangible. Setting aside even a few moments each day for mindful breathing or a meditative practice focused on spiritual connection can make all the difference. Picture a radiant, protective light surrounding you, welcoming your guides into your space. As time passes, you may find your awareness shifting, feeling a greater sense of peace, clarity, and a growing trust in your intuition. Prayer is another deeply powerful way to strengthen your bond with spiritual protectors. Whether rooted in religious traditions or a personal expression of faith, prayer serves as a direct bridge to the divine. As it is written in Philippians 4:6, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." Through prayer, you can share your gratitude, ask for guidance, and invite the presence of your guardians into every part of your life. Prayer is not only about seeking answers, but about fostering a deep connection with the divine, trusting in God's perfect timing and wisdom. In Matthew 7:7, Jesus reminds us, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." When you approach prayer with an open heart, you invite God and His angels to walk with you on your spiritual journey, providing comfort, protection, and divine wisdom. Rather than asking for specific outcomes, focus on seeking clarity, protection, and alignment with your highest self, as God often works in ways that surpass human understanding. Proverbs 3:5-6 advises, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." By doing so, you open yourself to the wisdom and support your guides are eager to offer, trusting that they work in harmony with your best interests. Through faith and prayer, you allow God's grace to flow into every aspect of your life, ensuring that you walk in alignment with His divine plan. Journaling is an invaluable tool for reflecting on your spiritual experiences. By writing down any synchronicities, intuitive nudges, vivid dreams, or even moments of unexpected insight, you begin to notice the recurring themes that hint at the presence of your guardians. As you record these moments, you create a space for reflection, deepening your understanding of how your guides have been quietly influencing your path all along. Over time, you'll see a pattern emerge, one that reveals just how intricately they have been working to protect and guide you. Listening to your intuition is another powerful way to connect with these spiritual forces. Your intuition is often the voice through which your guides communicate, gently steering you toward choices that serve your highest good. When faced with decisions, take a moment to pause and feel. What does your body tell you? Does a sense of calm wash over you, or do you feel unease? Trust these sensations, as they are often subtle clues from your protectors, guiding you on the path aligned with your soul's purpose. The more you trust this inner knowing, the stronger your connection with the unseen becomes. Lastly, never underestimate the power of gratitude. Expressing appreciation for the guidance and protection you receive strengthens the bond between you and your spiritual guardians, even if their presence isn't always obvious. Acknowledging them with heartfelt thanks invites more blessings into your life. Whether through prayer, meditation, or simply pausing for a moment to say thank you in your heart, this act of gratitude creates a reciprocal flow of energy and deepens your connection to the divine realm. In expressing gratitude, you align yourself with the grace and protection that is always available to you. One of the most profound lessons our guardians teach us is the power of trust and surrender. When we surrender to the flow of life, trusting that we are being guided and protected, we open ourselves up to incredible transformation and growth. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. Rather, it is an act of faith. Faith that everything is unfolding as it should, even if we cannot see the full picture. When we encounter obstacles or challenges, trusting that our guardians are working behind the scenes to support us allows us to face uncertainty with grace. It's like walking through a dark tunnel, knowing there is light at the end, even if we can't see it yet. In moments of surrender, We release the need to control every outcome, acknowledging that there are forces far greater than ourselves guiding our path. This trust requires courage, the courage to let go of fear, doubt, and the urge to resist life's natural flow. Instead of fighting against the current, we learn to move with it, allowing divine wisdom to carry us where we are meant to be. Surrender is not passive. It is an active, conscious choice to embrace the unknown. When we release our grip on rigid expectations, we create space for miracles and unexpected blessings to enter our lives. Often, what we perceive as setbacks or detours are actually redirections, steering us towards something far more aligned with our soul's purpose. In those moments of uncertainty, surrender also deepens our relationship with the divine and our spiritual guides. It opens us up to their subtle signs, the synchronicities, and the gentle nudges that offer reassurance. We start to see that every challenge, no matter how difficult, holds a lesson or gift, and trusting this process allows us to move forward with peace and resilience. In the act of surrender, we align ourselves with the greater flow of life, trusting that we are always being guided toward our highest good, even when the path is unclear. Learning to surrender also means letting go of fear and doubt, making space for love, growth, and miracles to unfold in our lives. It is in this space of trust that we truly begin to see the magic that surrounds us, recognizing the interconnectedness of all things and the divine orchestration at play. While our spiritual guardians provide us with protection and guidance, it is important to remember that we are not meant to walk the path of awakening alone. Finding a community of like-minded individuals who share your spiritual values can provide immense support and encouragement on your journey. In spiritual communities, whether they are physical gatherings or online groups, we find a sense of belonging. We are reminded that our experiences, challenges, and breakthroughs are part of a larger collective journey. When we share our insights, struggles, and growth with others who understand and support us, we tap into a wellspring of strength and wisdom that amplifies our own spiritual connection. The presence of a supportive community also provides opportunities for growth and learning. By exchanging ideas, practices, and wisdom with others, we enrich our own spiritual journey. It's like having a treasure trove of knowledge and inspiration at our fingertips, ready to be explored and integrated into our lives. In the vast tapestry of life, the presence of unseen spiritual guardians offers us comfort, protection, and guidance. Whether we call them angels, guides, ancestors, or simply the universe, these benevolent forces are ever present, watching over us as we navigate the twists and turns of our spiritual journey. By recognizing the signs of their presence, practicing mindfulness and meditation, and trusting in the flow of life, we can deepen our connection with these protective forces. Through prayer, intention setting, and listening to our intuition, we open ourselves up to receiving their guidance, allowing their wisdom to illuminate our path. As we cultivate this awareness and weave it into the fabric of our daily lives, we create a sacred space where the presence of our guardians is felt and honored. In doing so, we embark on a journey of spiritual awakening that is grounded in trust, surrender, and love, a journey that leads us closer to our true selves and the divine light that shines within us all. If this message resonates with you, know that you are being guided and supported in ways that may not always be visible, but are always present. Trust in the divine plan unfolding in your life, and remember that your spiritual protectors are always by your side. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. If you found this message helpful, we invite you to subscribe to the channel for more uplifting content. Your support helps us continue sharing messages of hope, healing, and spiritual growth. Blessings to you on your path. There's a heaviness you've been carrying, isn't there? A weight that lingers deep within, holding you back from your highest potential. You may not even realize it, but this toxic energy, these unresolved emotions, whether it's fear, guilt, shame, have been building up inside you for far too long. It's time to release it. You, the chosen one, have a divine purpose. But in order to fully step into the light, you must purge yourself of this darkness that no longer serves you. The body, mind, and spirit are sacred vessels, And just as the body rejects what is harmful through sickness, your soul is crying out for a deep cleansing. In this video, we'll uncover exactly what you need to release, why it's been holding you back, and most importantly, how to finally rid yourself of this burden. The path to your higher self is waiting, and once you shed this, you'll feel lighter, more aligned, and in tune with the divine flow of grace. So, if you're ready to clear the way for your true power to emerge, stay with me, and don't forget to subscribe so we can continue this journey together. Let's take the first step towards your spiritual liberation. At the heart of Jesus' teachings lies a command so powerful that it can change the course of your spiritual life. Forgive without limits. This wasn't just a kind suggestion, it was a revolutionary call that goes deep into the core of our relationship with God. When Peter asked, "Lord, how many times should I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me?" 7 times. He thought he was being remarkably generous. 7 times seemed like a lot, didn't it? But Jesus, in his boundless wisdom, responded, "I tell you, not 7 times, but 70 times 7. This was not a number meant to be tallied. Jesus wasn't giving Peter a mathematical formula. He was revealing the very nature of divine mercy. 70 times 7 is a call to forgive without counting, without holding grudges, without limits. It's an invitation to step into the heart of God, a heart that forgives endlessly, freely, and fully. This kind of forgiveness defies our human instincts, which often crave justice or payback. But Christ's message is clear. Forgiveness is not just the key to spiritual healing. It's the path to inner peace and a life deeply rooted in God's love. But let's be honest. Forgiving without limits is hard. It goes against everything we feel when someone wounds us deeply. Our natural response is to hold on to the pain, to demand reparation, to make the offender feel what we felt. And yet Jesus calls us to a higher way, a way that leads to true freedom. Forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about your own soul. It's about your relationship with God, your inner peace, your spiritual freedom. Forgiveness isn't a feeling that comes naturally. It's a conscious choice. It's the decision to let go of the hurt, release the offense, and trust the outcome to God. It's an act of faith, a step of obedience that mirrors the forgiveness God has already extended to us. When Jesus hung on the cross, enduring unspeakable suffering, he didn't curse those who crucified him. He prayed, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." In his darkest moment, Jesus forgave. He didn't wait for an apology. He didn't demand an act of repentance. He simply forgave. This is the kind of forgiveness we are called to live, a forgiveness that is unconditional, unearned, and boundless. So, how do we forgive when the wounds are deep, when the pain feels overwhelming? It starts with this. Understand that forgiveness is not about justifying what they did or pretending the hurt wasn't real. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of bitterness and trusting God to bring justice and healing in His perfect timing. Forgiveness is only the beginning. It is the first step on the journey toward reconciliation. While forgiveness releases you from the burden of bitterness and resentment, reconciliation is the ultimate goal, the restoration of relationships, the mending of what has been broken. In some cases, forgiveness and reconciliation can happen simultaneously, but in others, reconciliation is a process that requires time, healing, and the work of God's grace in both parties. The Bible tells us that God has given us the ministry of reconciliation. In 2 Corinthians 5:18-19, Paul writes, "All this is from God, who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave us the ministry of reconciliation," that God was reconciling the world to himself in Christ, not counting people's sins against them. This is our calling, to be agents of reconciliation in a world fractured by sin, division, and broken relationships. But reconciliation is not easy. It requires humility, patience, and a willingness to forgive and be forgiven. It requires us to lay down our pride, to swallow our ego, and to reach out in love to those who have hurt us. and it requires us to rely on God's strength, trusting in His timing for the restoration of relationships. Consider the story of Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his own brothers, betrayed and left for dead. When Joseph was finally reunited with his brothers, he had every reason to hold a grudge, to seek revenge, to cut them out of his life forever. But Joseph did something extraordinary. He forgave them. Not only did he forgive, but he also embraced them, wept with them, and declared, "Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Joseph's forgiveness not only healed his own heart, but also brought about the reconciliation of his family, restoring relationships that had been broken for years. This is the power of forgiveness. It not only sets us free, but it also opens the door to reconciliation, allowing God's love to flow into our relationships, bringing healing and restoration. However, reconciliation is not always possible. Sometimes the other person is not ready or willing to reconcile. Sometimes the wounds are too deep, and trust has been too shattered. In these cases, forgiveness is still essential. You must still release the offense and trust God with the outcome. But reconciliation may take time, and it may look different than what you had hoped for. Reconciliation does not mean allowing yourself to be mistreated or abused. It does not mean pretending that nothing happened or ignoring the reality of the hurt. It means seeking God's wisdom, following His leading, and being open to the possibility of healing and restoration in His perfect time. It also means setting healthy boundaries and guarding your heart, while trusting God to bring about His perfect will. I must warn you of the dangers of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is like a silent killer, a poison that seeps into your soul and slowly destroys you from the inside out. It is a heavy burden, a weight that you were never meant to carry. If you hold on to unforgiveness, it will take its toll on your physical, emotional, and spiritual health. Jesus Himself warned us of the severe consequences of unforgiveness. In Matthew 6:14-15, He says, "For if you forgive other people when they sin against you, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive others their sins, your Father will not forgive your sins." These are sobering words. Unforgiveness not only affects our relationships with others, but also our relationship with God. It creates a barrier between us and the grace of God. Unforgiveness is like a cancer that spreads throughout your body, affecting every area of your life. It causes stress, anxiety, and even physical illness. It fills your mind with negative thoughts, anger, and resentment. It cuts you off from the peace and joy that God wants to give you. It creates division in your relationships, robbing you of the connection and love that God has designed for you to experience. But the cost of unforgiveness goes even deeper than that. It keeps you trapped in the past, unable to move forward, unable to experience the fullness of life that God has for you. It binds you to the person who hurt you, chaining you to the pain and preventing you from healing. It robs you of your destiny, of the abundant life that Jesus came to give you. Jesus came to set the captives free, to break the chains of sin and death, and to give us life, abundant life. But unforgiveness keeps us in bondage. It locks us in a prison of our own making. This is why forgiveness is so crucial. It is the key that unlocks the door to your freedom, your healing, and your destiny. Forgiveness is not just about the other person, it's about you. It's about your relationship with God, your peace, your health, and your future. It's about letting go of the past so that you can step into the future that God has for you. It's about releasing the hurt so that you can receive the healing. It's about breaking the chains of bitterness so that you can walk in the freedom of Christ. One of the most powerful truths about forgiveness is that it is a profound act of liberation, not only for the person you are forgiving, but for yourself as well. When you choose to forgive, you release the chains that bind your spirit, allowing God's healing grace to flow freely in your life. Forgiveness transforms your heart, enabling you to experience the fullness of joy and peace that only God can provide. It is a courageous step towards emotional and spiritual renewal. By letting go of resentment, you open the door for God to restore what was broken and to lead you into a future filled with hope, purpose, and a deeper connection to His divine love. Forgiveness, in this way, becomes a powerful declaration of faith, an affirmation that you trust God's greater plan for your life beyond the pain of the past. But forgiveness is not easy. It is a process, a journey, and it takes time. It requires humility, surrender, and a deep trust in God. It requires you to let go of your right to be right, your need for justice, and your desire for revenge. It requires you to trust God to deal with the person who hurt you and to trust Him to heal your heart. It requires you to take the first step in faith and trust God with the rest. Forgiveness is not a single decision. It is a path we walk, a transformative journey that unfolds with time, patience, and grace. Simply saying the words "I forgive you" is only the beginning. True forgiveness requires that we live it, breathe it, and allow it to shape our hearts and actions. But how do we move from making the decision to forgive to truly living in the freedom that forgiveness brings? First, we must begin by acknowledging the hurt. True forgiveness cannot occur without first facing the reality of our pain. We cannot heal what we refuse to see. It's not about dwelling in the hurt or casting ourselves as victims, but about being honest with ourselves. To forgive, we must confront the wound, name it, and allow ourselves to feel the weight of what happened. This level of honesty is the foundation upon which forgiveness is built. Once we have acknowledged the pain, we must then release the offense. Forgiveness is a deliberate choice, an act of will. It's about deciding to let go of the anger, resentment, and the need for retribution. It's not a declaration that what was done to us was right or acceptable, nor is it a commitment to reconcile or continue a relationship with the person who hurt us. Rather, it is a surrender of the hold that the hurt has over us, and a release of the person from any emotional debt we feel they owe. In this moment, we trust God to take over, believing that He will handle the outcome better than we ever could. One of the most profound, yet challenging steps in forgiveness is to pray for the one who has caused us pain. This may feel unnatural, even impossible at first, but it is also one of the most powerful acts of healing. Jesus Himself instructed us to pray for those who persecute you, knowing that prayer softens our hearts and opens the door for divine healing. Through prayer, we invite God's grace into our wounds, and we begin to see the person who hurt us through the lens of His love, rather than through our pain. Taking this further, forgiveness calls us to go beyond prayer into the realm of blessing. This is where forgiveness becomes active, where we put it into practice. Jesus teaches us to bless those who curse you. To bless someone who has harmed us is the ultimate act of letting go. It doesn't always mean grand gestures. Sometimes, blessing them might simply mean refusing to speak ill of them, or choosing kindness in a moment where bitterness might have prevailed. By blessing, we free ourselves from the toxic grip of unforgiveness and align ourselves with the limitless grace of God. Lastly, forgiveness requires deep trust in God's sovereignty. Often, we struggle with forgiveness because we are holding on to a desire for justice, or perhaps we're waiting for the other person to change. But forgiveness is not about obtaining a specific outcome. It's about surrendering control. It's about trusting that God sees the entire picture, that He understands our pain, and that He will bring justice and healing in His way and in His time. In letting go of our need to control the result, we find peace in the knowledge that God's ways are higher and His timing is perfect. True forgiveness is a journey that transforms us, liberating our hearts and allowing us to live in the fullness of God's love. It's not easy, but as we walk this path, we discover a peace and freedom that can only come from releasing the past and trusting God with what lies ahead. Chosen ones, today we've delved deep into the hidden poisons that may be lurking within our souls, silently wreaking havoc on our minds, bodies, and spirits. It is not enough to merely recognize these toxins. we must actively work to purge them from our lives. Remember, holding on to these burdens only weighs us down and keeps us from walking fully in the divine purpose that God has set before us. Now is the time to release, to vomit out every trace of bitterness, unforgiveness, and pain that has been holding you back. I challenge you to take this message to heart and begin the process of cleansing your soul. Let go of what no longer serves you and make room for the peace, joy, and freedom that God wants to pour into your life. You are not alone on this journey. We are a community of spiritual warriors committed to healing and growth. If this message has resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others who may also need to hear this powerful truth. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Join us on this path to spiritual awakening and transformation. Together, we will continue to uncover the hidden truths, break free from the chains that bind us, and step into the fullness of our God-given destiny. Thank you for watching. Remember, you are chosen, you are called, and you are powerful beyond measure. Keep pressing forward, keep seeking truth, and keep walking in the light. Until next time, stay blessed, stay vigilant, and stay connected to the source of all life. God bless you. What does it take to break free from the chains of a generational curse? Perhaps you've faced struggles that seem too familiar, as if they're woven into the fabric of your family's story. Patterns of pain, trauma, or self-doubt that pass from one generation to the next. But here you are, standing at the crossroads, having endured your own wounds, and now discovering something remarkable. You are not just another link in the chain. You are the one who breaks it. In this video, we'll uncover how the very wounds you've carried can become the source of your greatest healing power, not only for yourself, but for the generations to come. This is your moment to reclaim your story and transform the pain of the past into a legacy of growth, strength, and healing. If this resonates with your journey and you're ready to explore how to step fully into the role of the healer, be sure to subscribe. Let's walk this powerful path together, breaking the cycles of the past and embracing the light of transformation. Now, let's begin. For generations, many of us have inherited more than just our family name or traditions. We've also inherited the unspoken legacy of avoidance, a quiet but powerful refusal to confront our deepest pains, traumas, and emotional scars. This pattern, often passed down like an invisible chain, binds us in cycles of suffering that we barely notice, yet cannot seem to escape. We bury our emotions beneath the surface, hiding them behind distractions or the masks of success society teaches us to wear. But pain, like a relentless tide, always finds a way to surge back into our lives, demanding to be seen, felt, and acknowledged. In the midst of this shared avoidance, there are individuals born with a rare and extraordinary sensitivity. These souls do not merely observe life's struggles from a distance. They feel them profoundly, as though every joy and sorrow in the world courses through their very being. They are often misunderstood, even by those closest to them, because their emotional depth is not easily explained or contained. But what others may perceive as weakness or fragility is, in truth, a profound gift. These individuals are not flawed. They are born to break the cycle. They are the healers, the spiritual warriors, the modern-day shamans whose journey through their own pain is the very path that enables them to lead others out of their darkness. Society, uncomfortable with anything that doesn't fit neatly into its boxes, may try to label these people, often diagnosing their heightened sensitivity as mental illness. Depression, anxiety, or other clinical terms are used to describe what is actually a spiritual gift, a soul being shaped by life's trials. These intense emotional and spiritual experiences are not burdens, they are initiations. In ancient cultures, those destined to heal often had to endure significant personal trials, illnesses, suffering, or moments that brought them to the brink. These rites of passage were essential for acquiring the deep wisdom needed to heal others. Today, though the language and rituals have changed, the essence remains the same. Those who bear the heaviest emotional burdens are not patients in need of curing, they are healers in the making. Through their personal anguish, they are being prepared for a sacred calling, to transform their own suffering into a reservoir of wisdom, compassion, and strength. They are learning the ancient sacred art of turning pain into healing, not just for themselves, but for the countless others who will one day look to them for guidance. These are the ones who see beyond the surface, who feel the currents of generational pain running through families, and who, through their own journey, learn how to break the chains that have bound their ancestors. They are the ones who are learning, through each tear and every heartbreak, that their suffering is not in vain. It is the forge that transforms them into healers, capable of mending not only their own wounds, but the deep fractures in the hearts of others. Your journey through suffering is not a path of torment, but a crucible for your awakening. A sacred forge where the raw materials of your soul are refined. Each emotional trial you endure does not merely scar you. It sculpts you, shaping you into a vessel capable of holding greater wisdom, compassion, and love. Every tear you shed is not a sign of defeat, but a droplet of grace, carving out the contours of your soul, preparing you for a deeper communion with the divine. Imagine your life as a block of unshaped marble, full of potential, but rough, unrefined. It is through the chisel of suffering that you are being carved into a masterpiece. The hammer strikes. Those moments of intense pain, loss, or confusion may seem harsh, but they are purposeful. With every blow, a part of your old self falls away, revealing the beauty that lies beneath. The divine artist is at work within you, using your hardships as tools to reveal the sacred within, transforming your brokenness into brilliance. You are not merely surviving your pain, you are mastering it. You are learning to alchemize your sorrow into strength, to transform your wounds into wisdom. Think of your suffering as the heat required to turn iron into steel. It strengthens you, makes you resilient, and prepares you for a greater purpose. The fires of adversity are not meant to consume you, but to refine you, just as gold is purified in the flame. Understand that your suffering is not meaningless. It is preparing you for a role that transcends the ordinary, awakening you to a deeper purpose. You are being called to something higher, something that can only be fulfilled through the lessons your pain has taught you. Your struggles are the spiritual weights that, when lifted, build the muscles of your soul. Every challenge is an opportunity to rise, to grow, and to align yourself with the divine will. But why does pain serve as such a powerful catalyst for spiritual awakening? The answer lies in the nature of suffering itself. Pain strips away the illusions we cling to, the masks we wear, and the distractions we use to avoid facing our true selves. In the rawness of suffering, we are forced to confront the deepest truths of our existence, our vulnerability, our interconnectedness, and the impermanence of life. This confrontation with truth is the essence of spiritual awakening. It is the moment when we realize that the walls we have built around our hearts are unnecessary, and that the very pain we have been avoiding holds the key to our liberation. Your deepest wounds, therefore, are not mere afflictions, but are the experiences that enhance your ability to empathize, connect, and heal. As you navigate your darkest moments, you gradually unlock a profound spiritual truth. Healing yourself and healing others are intertwined destinies. Each step toward your own healing is a step toward understanding and alleviating the suffering of others. Your personal victories become collective triumphs, as the wisdom you gain from your pain ripples out to touch the lives of those around you. In today's world, where sensitivity is often viewed through the narrow lens of medical labels, we find ourselves in need of a new narrative around pain and suffering, one that honors the depth of human experience rather than diminishes it. Society frequently tries to numb, suppress, or fix those who feel deeply, categorizing their emotions as disorders to be cured. But what if, instead of silencing sensitivity, we began to see pain as an extraordinary force for growth and transformation? Rather than avoiding discomfort, we could recognize it as the very thing that awakens our most profound potential. The mainstream approach is quick to pathologize what it can't easily understand, rushing to diagnose what doesn't fit neatly into the boxes of modern psychology. But your intense emotions and difficult experiences are not problems to be solved. They are signals of your capacity for something greater. These feelings are not symptoms. They are signs of your ability to channel energy, heal from deep wounds, and in doing so, help others transform their own pain. Take a moment to reflect on the traditional healers in indigenous cultures. These individuals were not just tolerated because of their connection to suffering, they were revered. Their hardships were not seen as weaknesses but as spiritual initiations, rites of passage that prepared them to guide others toward healing. Just as a sword is forged in fire, so too were these healers tempered by life's trials, emerging with the wisdom, resilience, and power to mend the brokenness in their communities. In the same way, your own wounds are not flaws. They are sacred markers of your readiness to heal, both yourself and others. These scars become your sources of strength, allowing you to connect with others in a way that is raw, real, and deeply transformative. It's also important to seek out mentors or guides, people who have walked similar paths and can offer insight as you navigate the complexities of your gift. These relationships will help you refine your abilities, turning what others might see as a vulnerability into a profound source of healing. In reclaiming your role as a healer, you shift from being viewed as a patient who needs fixing to someone who carries the rare and precious ability to touch the world's wounds with hands shaped by your own suffering. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. By embracing your sensitivity, you stand as a bridge between the pain of the past and the potential for a future filled with compassion, understanding, and renewal. This is not just about healing yourself. It's about reclaiming the power that has always been within you. The power to transform pain into wisdom, to turn wounds into lessons, and to guide others through their own journey of healing. You are a living testament to the strength that comes from vulnerability, and your role in this world is nothing less than sacred. Throughout cultures and spiritual traditions, the archetype of the wounded healer shines as a profound symbol of transformation and redemption. From Christ in Christianity to the shamans of indigenous cultures, these figures are more than just icons. They represent a deep universal truth. Personal suffering, when faced with courage and acceptance, has the power to become a wellspring of healing, not just for the individual, but for the entire community. In Christianity, Christ is often regarded as the ultimate wounded healer. His suffering on the cross and subsequent resurrection serve not only as acts of redemption for believers, but as powerful demonstrations of how pain can be transformative. Christ's wounds, the very marks of his crucifixion, are not symbols of defeat or failure. Rather, they represent his profound empathy for human suffering and his unparalleled ability to heal the spiritual ailments of the world. His journey reveals an essential spiritual truth. Real healing often demands sacrifice, endurance, and the willingness to bear the weight of others' pain. Through his wounds, Christ offers believers a model for finding redemptive meaning in their own trials, encouraging them to see their struggles not as the end, but as the very path toward growth, compassion, and inner peace. In many shamanic traditions, the role of the healer is similarly intertwined with personal suffering. A shaman is not simply born into their role. They are often forged through the fire of intense personal trials. These may include severe illness, near-death experiences, or moments of profound spiritual crisis. In these traditions, it is understood that only those who have walked through the depths of suffering can truly guide others to healing. The shaman's wounds are not just physical or emotional, they are sacred. They represent the shaman's ability to move between the physical and spiritual realms, acting as a bridge between worlds. Through their suffering, Shamans gain the wisdom and spiritual insight necessary to heal the deep fractures within their communities, using their pain as a powerful tool for transformation. These archetypes serve as timeless reminders that suffering is far from meaningless. Instead, it can be a sacred initiation, a channel through which profound understanding, personal growth, and communal healing are made possible. The wounded healer archetype teaches us that, when we confront our pain head-on, we don't just heal ourselves. We open a doorway to collective healing, bringing light to the hidden wounds of humanity. Your journey through suffering is not solitary. It ripples outward, touching the lives of those around you, offering them hope, comfort, and the understanding that pain, though difficult, holds within it the seeds of transformation. By embracing your wounds, you become the healer the world so desperately needs, capable of leading others through the dark valleys of their own souls toward the light of renewal and wholeness. The power of the wounded healer archetype is universal, transcending cultures, beliefs, and times. It reminds us that within the depths of our suffering lies the key to our greatest strength. That through our wounds, we not only heal ourselves, but ignite the flame of healing in others. And in this shared healing, we find the deeper purpose of our pain, to become the hands that mend the broken and the light that guides the lost. As a healer, your work is not just about addressing the physical symptoms of pain. It is about delving into the spiritual and emotional roots of suffering. Healing is not merely a clinical procedure. It is a sacred art form, an intricate dance of rituals, prayers, and meditative practices that, when performed with intention and reverence, transform the act of healing into a deeply spiritual experience. Visualize yourself as a conduit between the tangible and the ethereal. Each healing session is a ritual that transcends the physical and taps into the spiritual energies of the universe. This perspective shifts your practice from the mechanical to the mystical, where every touch, every word, and every intention carries a deeper significance. In this sacred space, healing transcends the boundaries of the body and touches the soul, offering not just physical relief, but spiritual liberation. Your rituals may begin long before the actual healing session. Perhaps you start with the lighting of a candle or the burning of sage, each flame and smoke plume carrying away the impurities of the physical space. Maybe you chant or pray, invoking the divine or setting intentions. Your voice, weaving a protective and sacred ambiance around the healing space. These rituals purify, protect, and sanctify, ensuring that both you and the one receiving healing are enveloped in a cocoon of spiritual energy. The inclusion of prayers in your healing practice is a profound acknowledgement of the forces beyond your immediate control. Whether you are praying to a deity, the universe, or the innate wisdom within each being. These prayers are a humble admission of your role not as the ultimate healer, but as an instrument of a greater healing power. This humility deepens the trust between you and those you help, reinforcing the belief that the healing process is a cooperative, interdependent dance between the human and the divine. Your journey as a healer is sacred. It is not defined by the wounds you carry, but by the wisdom and compassion you garner from them. These wounds are not mere scars. They are badges of honor, testaments to your resilience, and the keys to unlocking a deeper connection with those you aim to heal. As you continue on this path, remember that every challenge, every setback, and every moment of suffering has the potential to deepen your capacity to heal. Embrace these experiences, learn from them, allow them to refine your spirit and your skills. In doing so, you not only heal yourself but extend that healing outward, like ripples across a pond, touching lives and soothing spirits far beyond your immediate reach. Share your stories. Speak of your struggles and your triumphs, your pains and your discoveries. Each narrative you share casts light into the shadows of another's path, offering hope and guidance. Your voice can validate, inspire, and empower others to see their wounds not as ends but as beginnings, portals to a richer, more fulfilling life dedicated to healing and growth. Step forward with pride and confidence in your role as a healer. Know that your journey is sacred, your work invaluable, and your impact profound. Let your life be a testament to the power of healing that begins within and extends infinitely outward, carrying with it the promise of renewal and the profound joy of service. There comes a point in life when the people around you, whether they are family members, friends, colleagues, neighbors, or even strangers, believe they have you all figured out. They study your patterns, think they know your reactions, and feel confident they can predict your every move. For some, this knowledge becomes a tool. They think they can use it to manipulate, deceive, or even intimidate you, expecting you to follow a familiar script. After all, most people, when faced with pressure or mind games, will react in predictable ways, through fear, submission, or simply by backing down. But what happens when you break away from their expectations? What happens when, in that critical moment, you stand your ground unshaken and refuse to play along? This is the story of your strength, resilience, and profound wisdom. When the world thought it had the upper hand, you revealed your true power, not through confrontation, but through clarity, composure, and conviction. You didn't let them manipulate your emotions or dictate your path. Instead, you showed them that you are not someone who can be easily influenced or controlled. You are a person of purpose, guided by a vision that surpasses their limited understanding. And this, my friend, is what sets you apart. It's what makes you unstoppable. Imagine the look of surprise on their faces when, instead of reacting with fear or submission, you respond with calm strength. They thought they had outsmarted you. They were confident you would fold under the pressure. But in that moment, you defied their expectations. You didn't stumble, you didn't fall into their trap, and you certainly didn't back down. Instead, you displayed an inner strength they never anticipated, a resilience that threw them off balance. For those who rely on manipulation and control, this is a shock to their system. They are used to being in command, orchestrating outcomes to suit their desires. But when you didn't react the way they expected, it left them frustrated, powerless, and unsettled. Suddenly, they are no longer in control, and they don't know how to handle it. They are so accustomed to playing their games and winning that encountering someone like you, a person who won't play by their rules, leaves them scrambling for a new strategy. This is where the real power lies. In that moment of calm, when you refuse to be rattled, you are not just winning a battle, you are changing the entire game. You are showing them and yourself that you are far more than they ever gave you credit for. It's important to understand why some people behave this way. Manipulation is a tool often used by those who feel powerless in other areas of their lives. They seek control over others because it gives them a false sense of security and dominance. When they can predict and manipulate your reactions, they feel powerful. They convince themselves that they are smarter, craftier, and more in control than anyone else. But here's the truth. Their power is an illusion. It only works when people play along, when individuals allow themselves to be deceived or intimidated. The moment you refuse to follow their script, the facade crumbles. Their tactics lose their effectiveness because they are rooted in insecurity, not real strength. These people are not as clever as they believe themselves to be. They thrive on controlling others because they are afraid of losing control themselves. When you step outside of their grasp, it terrifies them. You've become the one thing they can't predict, the variable they can't control. And that's when you start to see their true colors. The desperation, the frustration, the fear. One of the greatest gifts you possess is your ability to see through the games people play. While others may be blinded by charm, flattery, or intimidation, you have the clarity of vision to recognize manipulation for what it truly is. You understand that people who attempt to deceive or control are operating from a place of fear, and you refuse to let their fear dictate your path. You've likely experienced moments where others underestimated you. Perhaps they mistook your kindness for weakness, your patience for ignorance, or your silence for submission. But in reality, you were simply observing, allowing them to reveal their intentions while you quietly prepared your next move. This ability to see beyond the surface, to recognize the true motivations behind people's actions, is what makes you so formidable. While others are easily swayed by appearances, you trust your intuition. You know that your inner guidance is sharper than any external force, and you use it to navigate through life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Manipulators often resort to gaslighting when their initial attempts to control you fail. Gaslighting is a psychological tactic in which they try to make you doubt your own perceptions and reality. They'll tell you that you're overreacting, being too sensitive, or misinterpreting their actions. They may even accuse you of imagining things that aren't real, all in an effort to make you question your own judgment. But here's where your strength shines again. You don't let their words distort your truth. You've learned to trust yourself deeply, to rely on your inner compass rather than the opinions of others. Even when faced with gaslighting, you stand firm in your knowledge of what is right and true. This doesn't mean you never experience doubt or second-guess yourself. After all, gaslighting is designed to shake your confidence. But over time, you've built a solid foundation of self-awareness and discernment. You know how to check in with your intuition, to ground yourself in your inner wisdom, and to dismiss the false narratives that others try to impose on you. The moment you realize that you are not obligated to follow anyone's script but your own is the moment you break free from the cycle of control. This is a powerful realization, one that changes the course of your life. When you stop seeking approval from those who wish to manipulate you, you reclaim your autonomy. You become the author of your own story, and no one else gets to dictate how it unfolds. You've chosen a different path. Instead of succumbing to fear or intimidation, you've embraced your power and your purpose. You understand that your worth is not defined by how well you fit into someone else's narrative. You are here to walk your own journey, to fulfill your own calling, and to rise above the limitations that others try to place on you. In doing so, you've not only liberated yourself, but you've also inspired others. Your courage, your resilience, and your determination serve as a beacon of light for those who are still trapped in the web of manipulation. You show them that it's possible to break free, to stand tall, and to rise above the fear that holds so many people back. It's no surprise that those who once sought to control you now find themselves deeply frustrated. They are used to winning, used to bending others to their will. But with you, they've encountered something entirely different. Someone who refuses to be dominated, someone who can't be swayed by cheap tricks or mind games. Your presence challenges their sense of superiority. They see you as a threat because you don't conform to their expectations. You don't allow them to manipulate you, and this drives them crazy. In their eyes, you've become an obstacle, an immovable force that they can't outsmart or overpower. This realization leaves them feeling small, insecure, and powerless. They've built their identity around their ability to control others, and when they can't control you, it shakes them to their core. They may try harder to bring you down, but each attempt only makes them more frustrated. Deep down, they know they've met their match, and it's a humbling experience for them. The reason you continue to rise despite the efforts of others to hold you back is simple. You are driven by a higher purpose. Your journey is not defined by the fleeting desires of others, nor by the shallow games of manipulation and control that so many get caught up in. Instead, you are guided by a vision, a divine calling that has been etched into the very fabric of your soul. This vision pulls you forward, encouraging you to grow, to evolve, and to move ever closer to the fulfillment of your true destiny. No matter the obstacles you encounter, you remain steadfast, knowing that these challenges are mere stepping stones on your path to greatness. While others are consumed by jealousy, envy, or a desire for power, you remain focused on your goals. These distractions cannot sway you because you understand something much deeper. Your purpose transcends the trivial concerns of those who would attempt to tear you down. You see beyond the superficial. You are not here to engage in petty rivalries or to feed into the toxic cycles of competition. Instead, you are here to make a real difference, to fulfill the sacred mission that has been entrusted to you by the divine, and to leave an indelible mark on the world, one that ripples out and touches countless lives. This is what makes you unstoppable. Your strength is not drawn from external validation or fleeting achievements, but from within, from that deep, unshakable connection to your soul's mission. You move through life with a quiet, powerful confidence because you know exactly who you are. You are not easily swayed by the opinions of others, nor are you deterred by temporary setbacks or the criticisms that may come your way. Instead, you stay focused on your purpose, aware that each step you take is divinely guided. You know where you're going, and you understand why you are here. This clarity of purpose acts as your North Star, leading you through even the most turbulent of storms. When others become lost or distracted, you remain focused, grounded in the knowledge that your journey is sacred, and that nothing and no one can take away the destiny that is meant for you. You are not just moving through life. You are ascending, rising higher with every challenge you overcome, with every lesson you learn, and with every act of love, kindness, and purpose that you put into the world. What truly sets you apart from those who try to manipulate or control you is not just your intelligence, but your wisdom. Intelligence, while valuable, is often focused on strategy, problem-solving, and the ability to outmaneuver others in situations of conflict or competition. It enables you to see through the tactics of those who attempt to deceive or undermine you, and it allows you to stay one step ahead in their games. But wisdom, which you possess in abundance, elevates you beyond the need to engage in those games at all. While intelligence can win battles, wisdom frees you from the war entirely. Wisdom is rooted in a higher understanding of life, one that recognizes that true fulfillment does not come from outsmarting others or proving your superiority. Instead, it comes from growth, compassion, and the pursuit of higher truth. You have come to realize that life is not about winning at the expense of others or constantly seeking validation through competition. Instead, your focus is on evolving as a person, expanding your capacity for love, kindness, and empathy, and aligning yourself with the deeper spiritual truths that transcend the material world. In the past, you may have encountered individuals who tried to bring you down through manipulation, deceit, or control. These people operate from a place of fear and insecurity, often projecting their own unresolved pain onto others. They believe that by controlling those around them, they can somehow gain power or shield themselves from their own vulnerabilities. But you, with your wisdom, can see through this. You understand that their behavior is not truly about you. It's a reflection of the inner battles they are fighting, battles with their own self-worth, fears, and unresolved traumas. This insight allows you to respond not with anger or resentment, but with compassion. You recognize that those who seek to hurt or control others are often suffering themselves. They are trapped in cycles of fear and insecurity, trying desperately to maintain a sense of power because they feel powerless within. Instead of retaliating or holding grudges, you choose to rise above. You respond with kindness and understanding, knowing that their actions come from a place of deep pain. This doesn't mean you allow people to walk all over you. On the contrary, you have strong boundaries and a clear sense of self-respect. But you've also realized that holding on to resentment or bitterness only weighs you down. By forgiving those who have wronged you, you free yourself from the negativity that could otherwise cloud your heart and mind. As you move forward on your journey, life will undoubtedly present you with more challenges. This is an inevitable part of growth. There will always be moments designed to test your strength, to stretch your patience, and to sharpen your resolve. You will encounter people who don't understand your vision, who may even try to undermine your efforts or distract you from your purpose. These individuals often act from a place of insecurity, jealousy, or fear. They may not realize it, but their actions are more about their own limitations than they are about you. Yet their presence in your life serves a deeper purpose. They are there to push you, to test your boundaries, and to make sure that your commitment to your path is as strong as it needs to be. Each challenge is like a refining fire, burning away what no longer serves you and molding you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. There will also be situations that test your mental and emotional fortitude, moments when you feel stretched thin and unsure of how to proceed. Life's complexities can sometimes feel overwhelming, as if you are being pulled in multiple directions at once. In these times, doubt may creep in, doubt in your abilities, in the path you've chosen, and even in your ability to persevere. But it's in these very moments that your inner strength will shine brightest. These periods of uncertainty are not signs that you are off track, but rather, they are opportunities for growth. They are a reminder that the path to greatness is not always smooth or straightforward. It is often winding, filled with obstacles that are there to teach you lessons that will be invaluable later on. Through it all, you will continue to rise. This is not just a statement of encouragement. It is a truth that has been proven time and time again by your past actions. You've already demonstrated an extraordinary resilience that sets you apart from many. You've encountered hardships before, faced moments of doubt, and endured situations where others may have faltered. But not you. You possess a core of inner strength that refuses to be broken. You may bend under pressure, but you do not break. You may stumble, but you always rise again. This resilience is a testament to your character, to the depths of your determination, and to the divine purpose that fuels your journey. In moments where others see only obstacles, you see opportunities. Where others might be stopped in their tracks, you find a way to move forward. This resourcefulness is one of your greatest gifts. You have the ability to assess a situation, to see beyond the immediate difficulties and to find creative solutions. When life throws you a curveball, you don't panic. Instead, you calmly adjust your strategy and navigate through the complexities with grace and wisdom. You understand that no challenge is insurmountable, and you approach each obstacle with the confidence that you will emerge stronger on the other side. This is why, no matter what comes your way, you will not be defeated. Adversity is not something you fear. It's something you've come to expect as a natural part of the process of becoming. Rather than seeing challenges as barriers, you view them as stepping stones on your path to greatness. You recognize that each difficulty you face is there to teach you something valuable, to help you grow in ways you might not have otherwise, and to prepare you for even greater success in the future. With every challenge you overcome, you deepen your understanding of yourself, of life, and of your purpose. Remember, your path is not one of stagnation or conformity. It is a path of continuous growth, one that requires you to constantly evolve, to shed old layers, and to embrace new levels of understanding. You are not here to meet the expectations of others. You are not here to fit into the mold that society, family, or your peers may try to place upon you. You are here to break free from those constraints, to follow the calling of your soul, and to pursue the higher purpose that has been uniquely entrusted to you. In the end, the greatest lesson you've learned is that your power comes from within. No one can take it from you, and no one can diminish it unless you allow them to. You are the master of your own destiny, guided by a higher purpose that transcends the trivial games people play. So continue to embrace your power. Continue to live your truth. Keep shining your light, no matter how much it unsettles those who wish to control you. For in doing so, you are not only honoring yourself, you are also showing the world what it means to truly live with purpose, strength, and integrity. Your journey is far from over. You are destined to keep climbing higher, to keep growing, and to continue outsmarting anyone who tries to stand in your way. This is your path, and no one can take it from you. Keep rising, keep shining, and never forget, you are unstoppable. If this message has inspired or uplifted you in any way, please consider subscribing to our channel and turning on notifications so you can stay connected and continue receiving more empowering content. Your support means everything to us, and together, we can keep spreading light and truth. Have you ever felt a quiet stirring deep within your soul? A gentle pull towards something greater, something divine? What does it truly mean to be chosen by God, to be set apart for a higher purpose that can transform not only your life, but the world around you? Is it a calling woven into the very fabric of your being from the moment you were born, or does it emerge as your life unfolds, revealing itself through the experiences and challenges you face? These are the questions that have long captivated the hearts and minds of spiritual seekers. Today, we invite you to join us on a profound journey as we uncover the 7 divine secrets of how God chooses His chosen ones. Stay with me until the end, because these revelations have the potential to shift your perspective and change your life in ways you may never have imagined. To understand how God chooses His chosen ones, we must first explore what it truly means to be chosen. There's often a common misunderstanding that being chosen by God implies favoritism, as though God arbitrarily selects certain individuals over others. But nothing could be further from the truth. Being chosen is not about favoritism. It's about alignment, being in harmony with the divine will. It's about being receptive to the subtle yet powerful call from within, a call that aligns your soul with the higher purposes that God has designed for you. This alignment is not something that can be forced or fabricated. It's a natural resonance, a deep connection that exists on the soul level, a divine relationship that has always been there, waiting for you to acknowledge it. Those who are chosen are not picked because they are somehow better or holier than others. Rather, they are uniquely suited to fulfill a specific role in God's grand design. This is the foundation from which the 7 divine secrets begin to unfold. Divine Secret 1: The Call to the Heart. The first secret of how God chooses the chosen ones lies in a simple yet profound experience: the call to the heart. This call is not a booming voice from the heavens, nor is it a dramatic event that shakes the foundations of your life. More often than not, it is a subtle inner stirring, an inexplicable feeling that something within you is awakening, urging you to seek a deeper connection with the divine. This call may come at unexpected moments, during times of immense joy, in the quietude of nature, or even in the midst of suffering and pain. It can manifest as an insatiable curiosity about the mysteries of life and the universe, or as a deep sense of longing to belong to something greater than oneself. Many of those who are chosen report feeling as though they have a mission or calling, even if they don't yet know what it is. What makes this call unique is its unshakable nature. It is not driven by external motivations such as fame, wealth, or recognition. Instead, it comes from a deeper knowing that there is more to life than what the eyes can see or the mind can comprehend. It is a call to step out of the mundane and into the extraordinary. But here's the catch: not everyone who feels this call responds to it. Life's distractions, fears, and doubts can drown out this divine whisper. Many ignore it, often for years, convinced that they are not worthy or that the call is simply a figment of their imagination. However, for the chosen ones, this call persists. It echoes in their hearts, growing louder and clearer with each passing day until they can no longer ignore it. It is this irresistible pull toward the divine that marks the beginning of their journey as chosen ones. The journey that begins with the call to the heart is not an easy one. It requires courage, faith, and a willingness to step into the unknown. However, those who heed the call often find their lives changing in remarkable ways. New doors open, unexpected opportunities arise, and synchronicities occur that confirm they are on the right path. It is as though the universe itself is conspiring to help them fulfill their higher purpose. Divine Secret 2: The Purification Process. After the call to the heart is answered, the next phase in the journey of the chosen one is the purification process. This is one of the most essential yet misunderstood steps in spiritual evolution. Purification is not simply about moral or ethical cleansing. It goes far deeper. It's a process of spiritual refinement where the soul is stripped of the layers of ego, fear, and attachment that have accumulated over lifetimes. These layers are like veils that obscure the soul's true light, preventing it from fully shining. The purification process often begins subtly, with the chosen one becoming more aware of their inner world. They begin to notice thought patterns, emotional wounds, and limiting beliefs that no longer serve them. These realizations can be uncomfortable and even painful, as the chosen one is forced to confront parts of themselves they've long buried or ignored. However, these confrontations are essential for growth. In the depths of this purification process, the chosen one will face their greatest fears, their deepest insecurities, and the shadows of their past. They may experience moments of doubt, despair, or confusion, wondering if they are truly on the right path. Yet, these dark nights of the soul are the very crucibles in which spiritual growth occurs. As Meister Eckhart wisely stated, when the soul wants to experience something, she throws out an image in front of her and then steps into it. The purification process is not about perfection, but about progress. With each layer that is stripped away, the chosen one becomes more aligned with their divine purpose. They shed old identities, beliefs, and attachments, becoming more attuned to the higher frequencies of love, grace, and wisdom. Letting go is a central theme in purification. The chosen ones must learn to release what no longer serves their soul's growth, whether it be toxic relationships, outdated beliefs, or unhealthy habits. This process of letting go is not easy, as it often requires a deep level of trust and surrender. But in releasing these burdens, the chosen one experiences a profound sense of liberation, clarity, and inner peace. Divine Secret 3. The Awakening of Spiritual Gifts. As the chosen ones progress through the purification process, something miraculous begins to happen. Their spiritual gifts, innate abilities that have long been dormant, start to awaken. These gifts are not given arbitrarily. They are specific to the soul's purpose and are meant to aid the chosen one in their divine mission. Some may possess the gift of healing, with the ability to channel divine energy to bring about physical, emotional, or spiritual healing in others. Others may be endowed with the gift of prophecy, receiving insights or visions about the future, guiding others with divine wisdom. Still, others may possess the gift of discernment, being able to perceive the true nature of people and situations beyond the surface. The awakening of spiritual gifts is often closely tied to the purification process. As the chosen ones shed their egoic attachments, their divine essence shines through more clearly. They become more sensitive to the energies around them and within them. Their intuition sharpens, and they begin to experience life on a deeper, more mystical level. For some, the awakening of these gifts can be overwhelming. They may suddenly find themselves more attuned to the thoughts, emotions, and energies of others. They may experience dreams, visions, or intuitive flashes that challenge their perception of reality. While this can be disorienting, it is also a powerful confirmation that they are stepping into their role as a chosen one. However, it is important to remember that these gifts are not meant for self-glorification. The chosen ones must use their gifts in service to others in alignment with divine will. This responsibility requires humility, dedication, and a deep connection to the divine. Divine Secret 4. The Dance Between Destiny and Free Will. One of the most profound mysteries in the spiritual journey of the chosen ones is the interplay between destiny and free will. How can one be chosen, destined for a higher purpose, and yet still possess free will? This delicate balance between destiny and free will is a divine paradox that each chosen one must navigate. Destiny, in the spiritual sense, refers to the overarching divine plan for each soul. It is the blueprint of the soul's journey, outlining key experiences, challenges, and opportunities that will shape the soul's evolution. For the chosen ones, this destiny often involves significant roles in guiding, healing, or uplifting others. However, Destiny is not a rigid script that dictates every moment of life. Instead, it is a framework within which free will operates. The chosen ones have the freedom to make choices that will either bring them closer to fulfilling their destiny or lead them astray. Each decision is an opportunity to align more deeply with divine will or to stray from it and learn through the consequences. The dance between destiny and free will is what makes the journey of the chosen ones so dynamic. While they are guided by a higher purpose, they are also empowered to shape their path through the decisions they make. The ego often seeks comfort, security, and recognition, while the soul's path may require sacrifice, courage, and faith. The chosen ones must learn to discern between the voice of the ego and the call of their destiny. Through the practice of spiritual discernment, they learn to tune into the divine guidance within them, allowing their choices to align with their higher purpose. This discernment is not always easy, as the distractions of the world and the desires of the ego can cloud their judgment. But through consistent spiritual practice, whether through meditation, prayer, or mindfulness, the chosen ones develop the clarity and wisdom needed to make choices that honor their divine mission. Divine Secret 5. The Power of Intuition and Inner Guidance. For the chosen ones, intuition is not just a helpful tool, it is an essential part of their spiritual journey. Intuition is often described as the voice of the soul, a direct line of communication between the chosen one and the divine. It is through intuition that they receive insights, warnings, and guidance that help them navigate their path. In a world that often values logic, reason, and external validation, trusting intuition can be challenging. However, for the chosen ones, intuition is a gift from the divine, a form of communication that transcends the limitations of the rational mind. It is a way for the chosen ones to access information and understanding that is not available through ordinary means. As they progress on their spiritual journey, the chosen ones often find that their intuition becomes stronger and more reliable. This is because they are constantly attuning themselves to the frequency of the divine, clearing away the noise of the ego and becoming more receptive to subtle energies. Intuition can manifest in many forms: gut feelings, flashes of insight, dreams, or even synchronicities that seem too meaningful to be mere coincidence. One of the most important lessons for the chosen ones is learning to trust their intuition, even when it contradicts conventional wisdom. Intuition is gentle and calm, coming from a place of inner peace and wisdom. It is not driven by fear, desire, or insecurity. These are the voices of the ego. The chosen ones must learn to recognize the difference between these two voices and to follow their inner guidance even when it doesn't make logical sense. The more they trust and act on their intuition, the more it guides them toward their divine purpose. They may find that they are led to the right people, places, and opportunities at just the right time. Their intuition helps them avoid pitfalls and challenges that could derail their progress. By following their inner guidance, the chosen ones fulfill their role as channels of divine wisdom, bringing clarity and truth to the world. Divine Secret 6. The Transformative Power of Service and Selflessness. One of the most significant aspects of the chosen one's journey is the realization that their spiritual gifts, insights, and alignment with divine will are not for their own benefit. They are meant to be used in service to others. Service is at the heart of the chosen one's mission. It is not just an action they perform, but a state of being. Selflessness in this context is not about neglecting oneself, but about understanding that true fulfillment comes from contributing to the well-being of others. The chosen ones recognize that their spiritual gifts are not for self-glorification, but for the upliftment of humanity and the world. This service can take many forms. It might involve healing, teaching, guiding, or simply embodying love and compassion in daily life. The chosen ones understand that every action, no matter how small, has the potential to create a ripple effect that can touch countless lives. Through service, the chosen ones experience profound spiritual rewards. These rewards are not material, but spiritual. They come in the form of inner peace, a sense of connection to the divine, and the knowledge that they are making a positive impact on the world. Service also purifies the soul, as the chosen ones focus on the needs of others, letting go of ego-driven desires and attachments. Service deepens the chosen one's connection to the divine. As they give of themselves, they open their hearts to the flow of divine love and grace. This flow is reciprocal. The more they give, the more they receive, not in material terms but in spiritual abundance. Divine Secret 7. Trusting in divine timing. The final secret of how God chooses the chosen ones lies in the mystery of divine timing. While the chosen ones may feel a sense of urgency to fulfill their mission, they must also learn to trust in the timing of the divine. Divine timing ensures that everything unfolds according to a higher order, an order that is often beyond human comprehension. Patience is one of the greatest virtues the chosen ones must cultivate. There may be periods of waiting, during which they are being prepared, tested, and refined. These periods of waiting are not wasted. They are essential for the chosen one's growth and development. Through patience, the chosen ones learn to trust that everything they need will come to them at the right time, and that their mission will be fulfilled in perfect alignment with divine will. Divine timing also ensures that the chosen one's actions, insights, and gifts are aligned with the needs of the world. Their contributions are most impactful when they occur at the right moment, when the world is ready to receive them. Trusting in divine timing requires surrender, letting go of the need to control outcomes and allowing the divine to guide the process. The chosen ones may find that their intuition helps them sense when the time is right to act and when it is better to wait. By aligning their free will with divine timing, they create harmony between their personal desires and the greater divine plan. As we conclude this exploration of how God chooses the chosen ones and the 7 divine secrets that guide their journey, it is clear that this path is one of deep meaning and great responsibility. The chosen ones are called to live lives of service, to continually align with divine will, and to embrace the mysteries of divine timing and intuition. The journey of a chosen one is not about perfection. It is about authenticity, growth, and the willingness to align oneself with divine will. Mistakes will be made, and challenges will arise. But each of these experiences is an opportunity for deeper learning and greater alignment with the divine. By embodying the 7 divine secrets, the chosen ones contribute to the collective awakening of humanity. Their presence, actions, and insights inspire others to embark on their own spiritual journeys, creating a ripple effect that spreads throughout the world. The path of the chosen one is not easy, but it is deeply rewarding. It is a journey toward union with the divine, where the chosen one experiences a profound sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. They come to realize that they are not alone. God walks with them every step of the way, guiding, supporting, and helping them fulfill their highest potential. If you have resonated with the insights shared in this article, remember that you, too, may be among God's chosen ones. Embrace your role with humility, courage, and love, and know that your work is making a profound difference in the world. Stay blessed and continue shining your light. Thank you for watching, and as you continue on your spiritual journey, may you be guided by grace, wisdom, and divine love. Stay blessed, and until next time, keep shining your light. Are you feeling like life is shifting in ways you can't quite explain? As if the familiar is slowly peeling away, revealing something deeper, more profound. You may be stepping into your second awakening, a powerful transformation that changes not only how you see the world, but how you live in it. In today's video, we're diving into 12 unmistakable signs that your second awakening is happening right now, from heightened intuition to the spontaneous release of emotions. These are not just random occurrences. They are the universe's way of guiding you to a higher level of consciousness. If you resonate with this content and want to stay connected to more insights on spiritual awakening, conscious living, and personal transformation, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss out on the guidance that can help you navigate this beautiful and powerful journey. Now let's begin unfolding the 12 signs of your second awakening. The first sign, Awakening to your vibrational reality. The gateway to your second awakening lies in a simple yet profound truth. Your thoughts, emotions, and actions are not random. They carry energy, shaping the world around you in ways you may not always see. Every thought sends out a ripple, every feeling creates a wave, and every action vibrates with an unseen frequency. As you awaken to this reality, you'll realize how much of your life has been on autopilot, with routines guiding your steps and unconscious habits setting the pace. But now, a new path calls you to step forward with deliberate, conscious intention, turning each moment into a mindful act of creation. Picture your morning, typically filled with rushed motions and scattered thoughts. Now imagine transforming it into a sacred ritual. Making coffee is no longer just a task, but an opportunity to connect with your higher self. As you grind the beans, feel the texture beneath your fingers. As the water boils, let its warmth center you. As you pour it into your cup, take a deep breath and set an intention for the day. This small, deliberate act shifts your energy from reacting to the external world to mastering your internal reality. In this space, you are no longer merely moving through life. You are crafting it with purpose. As you begin to operate from this higher level of awareness, the world responds in kind. Without effort, you'll find new opportunities and people flowing into your life, aligning with the energy you now embody. Abundance no longer feels like something you must strive for. Instead, it naturally gravitates toward you, reflecting the harmony and grace you cultivate within. Your reality becomes a living mirror of your inner state, bringing you more of the peace, joy, and alignment you carry within your soul. The second sign: shifting from thinking to embodying. One of the biggest misconceptions we've been taught is that more thinking leads to more success. Society glorifies overanalysis, meticulous planning, and constant mental activity as the path to achievement. However, as your second awakening unfolds, you realize that true growth and abundance come not from thinking, but from embodying higher vibrations. Consider your daily interactions. Before, you might have spent hours over-preparing for meetings or conversations, meticulously planning every word to ensure the desired outcome. But now, you begin to trust the flow of life. You walk into the same meeting with a calm, grounded confidence, radiating a frequency that effortlessly draws respect and cooperation. You realize that your energy speaks louder than any carefully planned strategy. You're no longer a participant. You're leading the energy of the room with your presence, an unseen force that others naturally gravitate toward. As you embrace this new way of being, insights begin to flood your consciousness. Like beams of light piercing through a fog, they illuminate the path ahead with clarity and purpose. You no longer feel the need to tie your worth to mental activity or achievements, but to the purity of your vibration. This profound shift frees up mental space, allowing more creativity, synchronicity, and abundance to flow into your life, without the struggle and overthinking that used to consume your energy. The third sign: reality filter upgrade. A significant part of the second awakening is the experience of what can only be described as a reality filter upgrade. Your perception sharpens, and the mundane aspects of life start to pulse with a sense of magic and meaning. It's as if a veil is lifted, revealing a world that is far more vibrant and alive than you previously noticed. Take something as simple as watching the sunset. Where you once saw a fading ball of light, you now see a symphony of hues, each color blending into the next, stirring your soul and connecting you to the divine. Walking through nature, a single leaf might captivate you with its intricate veins, revealing the hidden universe within it. This heightened sense of awareness transforms even the most mundane tasks into profound moments of connection with the world around you. This upgrade is not just about seeing more, it's about feeling more deeply. Your senses become attuned to the subtleties of life, allowing you to connect with your environment on a more profound level. In Hindu mythology, Arjuna's divine vision of Krishna's cosmic form in the Bhagavad Gita is a powerful metaphor for this shift in perception. As Krishna reveals the infinite manifestations of the universe, Arjuna's limited perception of reality is shattered, granting him the courage and clarity to fulfill his dharma. Similarly, your second awakening opens your eyes to the interconnectedness of all existence, allowing you to perceive life in its true, vivid beauty. The fourth sign, transcending the spiritual ego. As you rise further along your spiritual path, you may encounter an unexpected and subtle challenge, the emergence of the spiritual ego. Unlike the ego you may have previously worked to transcend, this new form is more elusive, cloaked in the guise of wisdom, insight, and spiritual growth. It can be difficult to detect because it often feels like progress. You might begin to notice subtle feelings of superiority creeping in, perhaps when you compare your spiritual journey to others. A quiet sense of pride may arise when you believe you are more awakened or enlightened than those around you. You may even catch yourself judging others for not being as spiritually aware, subconsciously placing yourself on a pedestal, convinced that your insights and experiences make you more evolved. This phase is an important crossroads in your spiritual evolution. It is a natural part of the journey to confront the spiritual ego, but it is vital to recognize it for what it is, another layer of separation and illusion. The key to moving beyond this is to understand that true enlightenment has nothing to do with hierarchy or superiority. It is not a contest or a ranking of who is more awakened. As you transcend this phase, your actions become more genuine, flowing naturally from a place of humility and love. Your interactions with others shift. Rather than seeing them as less aware or judging their progress, you begin to understand their journeys with greater empathy and kindness. Your spiritual practice, once driven by the desire to achieve or be better, becomes rooted in simplicity and sincerity. It becomes less about performing spiritual tasks and more about embodying spiritual truths in every moment. This is where true awakening begins, not in the grandeur of what you have attained, but in the quiet, profound embrace of your shared humanity with all living beings. The fifth sign, moving from doing to being. We live in a world that constantly drives us to do more, acquire more, and chase after success. We are conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to our achievements, wealth, and productivity. But as your second awakening unfolds, you begin to see through this illusion. You realize that true fulfillment doesn't come from what you have or what you do, but from who you are in each moment. Instead of chasing the next promotion, the next material possession, or the next milestone, you start to value the power of presence. You find joy in simply being. Your commute to work transforms from a rush to complete tasks to a peaceful time of reflection. You feel the flow of your breath, the weight of your body in the seat, the world passing by outside your window. This simple act of mindfulness fills you with a sense of calm and connection to the now. As you surrender to the present moment, you allow divine energy to flow through you. Your relationships deepen, your work becomes a joyous expression of your true self, and life no longer feels like a constant chase. You've moved from doing to being, and in this state you discover the boundless joy and fulfillment of living in harmony with the universe. The sixth sign, emotional release and healing. During your second awakening, you might begin to feel waves of emotion wash over you, often without warning. These feelings can arise from the most unexpected places. A familiar melody from your childhood, a passing memory, or even a quiet moment of stillness. What might seem like random bursts of emotion are, in fact, powerful signs that your soul is in the process of deep healing. Old wounds, past traumas, and the weight of unspoken pain begin to surface, asking to be acknowledged and released. In this phase, you no longer push these emotions aside or bury them beneath layers of distraction. Instead, you begin to recognize them for what they truly are, sacred messengers from your inner self calling you to heal, grow, and transform. Think of those moments when a song unexpectedly brings tears to your eyes. It's not just nostalgia. It's your soul's way of shedding the layers of past hurt, grief, or longing that have been quietly building up within you. This is emotional alchemy, where pain is turned into peace and past burdens are transformed into freedom. With every release, you feel lighter, more whole, and closer to the truest version of yourself. This isn't just a fleeting emotional release. It's a profound, ongoing process of cleansing and renewal. By allowing yourself to fully feel and release these emotions, you make space for deeper clarity and healing, paving the way for a future filled with joy, lightness, and an unshakable sense of inner peace. In embracing this journey, you are freeing your spirit and welcoming the next chapter of your life with open arms and a heart unburdened by the past. The seventh sign: dissolution of old identities. As you journey deeper into your second awakening, something remarkable begins to unfold. The shedding of the old identities and roles that once defined you. The person you used to be, the one shaped by your career, family expectations, or societal norms, starts to feel distant, almost like a faint echo of a former life. You begin to realize that many of the labels you wore were never truly yours. They were constructs handed down by society, shaped by external expectations and past achievements. Now, those identities no longer hold the same weight or meaning they once did. This process of dissolving old identities is both liberating and at times disorienting. You may feel a sense of loss or confusion as you let go of the titles and roles that once gave you a sense of security and belonging. But beneath the surface, something far more profound is happening. You are no longer bound by the limitations of who you were supposed to be. Instead, you are stepping into the fluidity of your true essence, a self that is ever evolving, free from the confines of labels and expectations. This evolving identity allows you to grow, transform, and embrace new possibilities that align with the deeper truths of who you are becoming. In this new space of authenticity, your soul begins to flourish. You are no longer striving to meet societal standards or live up to outdated definitions of success. Like Hypatia of Alexandria, the brilliant philosopher and mathematician who defied the conventions of her time to pursue her intellectual passions, you too are breaking free from the chains of conformity. Hypatia lived a life of courage and conviction, unafraid to challenge societal norms in her quest for knowledge and wisdom. Similarly, you are now moving toward a life of greater freedom and purpose, unshackled by the roles you once played. You are carving out a path where your true self can thrive, empowered by the realization that you are not defined by your past, but by the limitless potential of who you are becoming. This is the beauty of your second awakening, the shedding of old skins, the release of outdated identities, and the emergence of a self that is fluid, expansive, and authentic. As you embrace this newfound freedom, you step into a life that is aligned with your soul's deepest calling, a life where you can grow, evolve, and express your truest nature without limits. The eighth sign: intuitive lightning strikes. One of the most exhilarating elements of the second awakening is the sudden onset of intuitive clarity. Those moments where life-changing insights seem to appear out of nowhere, like bolts of lightning illuminating the darkest skies. You begin to experience a profound sense of inner knowing, trusting your gut instincts with a certainty you've never felt before. It's as if an invisible compass within you is guiding your every step, gently but powerfully steering you toward choices that are in perfect alignment with your soul's true path. Imagine deciding, seemingly on a whim, to take a spontaneous trip or start a new creative project. What initially feels like an impulsive choice unfolds into something transformative, opening doors to personal growth, new connections, and opportunities you never could have planned for. These decisions are not random. They are the results of your heightened intuition, now emerging as your most reliable guide. You no longer question whether your instincts are right, you simply know. This inner wisdom, sharpened by your awakening, leads you toward people, places, and experiences that resonate with your highest potential. In the rich tapestry of Yoruba mythology, Orunmila, the god of wisdom and divination, is revered for offering divine guidance to those seeking clarity. Orunmila's followers believe that through divination, he reveals hidden truths and provides insight that transcends ordinary perception. Much like those who turn to Orunmila, you begin to receive flashes of wisdom that seem to come from a higher source. These moments of revelation are not mere accidents or coincidences. They are the universe speaking directly to you, aligning your actions with the deeper currents of your destiny. As these intuitive strikes become more frequent, they begin to reshape your reality, making your journey through life feel less like a struggle and more like a dance with the divine. Each insight brings you closer to the realization that the answers you seek have always been within you, waiting to emerge when you are ready to listen. The 9th sign. Seeing through the material, mirage. As your second awakening continues to unfold, you begin to see beyond the illusions of material possessions and the false promises of lasting happiness they offer. For so long, you may have been conditioned to believe that wealth, status, and accumulating things are the keys to fulfillment. But now, as your awareness deepens, you recognize that the true essence of joy and contentment cannot be found in what you own. Instead, it lies in the richness of experiences, the depth of relationships, and the beauty of authentic connections. You start to reassess how you spend your time, energy, and resources. No longer drawn to the endless chase of the latest gadgets or fleeting trends, you find yourself naturally gravitating toward experiences that nourish your spirit. The treasures you now seek are intangible: love, wisdom, connection, gifts that are timeless and infinitely more fulfilling than the temporary thrill of acquiring material goods. By detaching from the materialistic mindset, you open yourself to the profound joy of living a life rooted in love, connection, and purpose. Your relationships deepen as you invest more time and energy into those around you, and your experiences grow richer as you focus on moments that truly resonate with your soul. The fulfillment that arises from this shift in perspective is far greater than anything a possession could offer. It's a contentment that radiates from within, a feeling of peace and alignment with your true self, knowing that the greatest joys in life cannot be bought, but must be lived and felt deeply. The 10th sign. Embracing present moment power. The second awakening invites you to step fully into the present moment where true power and joy are found. No longer is life something to rush through or merely endure. Instead, every moment, no matter how simple, becomes an opportunity to connect with a profound richness and depth you may have never imagined. It's as though the world comes alive in a way you hadn't noticed before, and suddenly, the ordinary feels extraordinary. As you eat a meal, you no longer just taste the food. You savor each bite, noticing the textures, flavors, and the energy that nourishes your body. When walking through nature, the colors seem more vibrant, the breeze against your skin more soothing, and the sounds of birds and rustling leaves more harmonious. In these moments, past anxieties and future worries gradually dissolve, losing their hold on your mind as you immerse yourself in the present, where true peace resides. This shift in focus sharpens not only your senses, but also your connection to life itself. You begin to experience every moment as a gift, something to cherish, rather than something to simply move through. Your life takes on a new quality, one of vibrancy, awareness, and authenticity. Each second becomes a celebration of existence, an opportunity to fully engage with the beauty that surrounds you. This is the essence of the second awakening, the realization that the present moment is not something to escape from or hurry past, but rather the most powerful and sacred place you can be. It is here, in the now, where true freedom, joy, and fulfillment await, if only you allow yourself to fully receive it. In embracing this way of being, you unlock the ability to live with a heart wide open, attuned to the infinite possibilities of each passing breath. The 11th sign, mission manifestation. As your second awakening deepens, you begin to discover a profound and undeniable sense of purpose, one that resonates deeply with your passions, values, and the core of who you are. This isn't just a passing interest or hobby that fades with time. It's a mission rooted in your very soul, a calling that compels you to make a meaningful contribution to the world. You no longer feel adrift or uncertain about your path. Instead, you are guided by a force that feels both powerful and inevitable, pushing you towards something greater. You may suddenly feel inspired to start a new venture, initiate a project that aligns with your heart's desires, launch a nonprofit to support a cause close to your soul, or perhaps write a book that shares your unique perspective and wisdom with the world. These actions are more than just tasks or goals. They are sacred expressions of your soul's higher purpose, channeling your gifts and talents into something that can leave a lasting imprint on others. This mission manifestation is one of the most powerful signs of your second awakening. It provides you with direction, illuminating the path ahead with a clarity that wasn't there before. Every action you take feels purposeful, aligned with your deepest truth. You move forward with a newfound sense of confidence and assurance, knowing that the work you do and the impact you have are truly meaningful. Your contributions are no longer driven by external pressures or societal expectations, but by the purest expression of your true self, creating ripples of positive change in the world. The 12th sign, greater compassion and empathy. The culmination of your second awakening reveals itself in a profound surge of compassion and empathy that flows effortlessly through you. You begin to experience a deeper connection with the people around you, as though their joys, sorrows, and challenges are intertwined with your own. This shift isn't just intellectual, it's felt deeply in your heart, awakening a heightened sensitivity to the human experience. Suddenly, you find yourself approaching difficult situations with a gentler hand. Where there might have once been judgment, there is now understanding. Where there might have been indifference, there is genuine care. You offer support and kindness, not out of obligation, but from an innate desire to uplift and heal. Your empathy expands, reaching not only those closest to you but also extending to strangers and those you may never meet. It's as if the barriers that once divided self and other are dissolving, leaving only a sense of unity and interconnectedness. As your second awakening continues to unfold, this newfound empathy becomes a guiding force in your life, transforming your relationships and worldview. Your heart opens wider, and your actions reflect the love and connection you feel with all of existence. This state of being turns you into a beacon of light, radiating compassion wherever you go, inspiring others to live with greater empathy, and contributing to a world that thrives on unity and understanding. Through this expanded sense of compassion, your second awakening reaches its fullest expression, guiding you to live in harmony with all beings. As we come to the end of this journey through the 12 signs of your second awakening, I hope you found clarity, inspiration, and perhaps even a reflection of your own experiences. Each of these signs is a powerful reminder that you are evolving, stepping into a higher state of consciousness where life is lived with greater depth, purpose, and alignment with your true self. Remember, this process is unique to you. Your second awakening is unfolding exactly as it should, guiding you toward a more fulfilling, connected, and enlightened way of being. Embrace every moment, every lesson, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. If you resonated with any part of this video, I encourage you to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Let's grow together and continue supporting each other on this beautiful journey of awakening. And if you're looking for more guidance and inspiration along the way, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss future videos that will help you dive even deeper into your spiritual journey. Thank you for watching, and remember, your second awakening is not just happening to you, it's unfolding for you. Embrace it fully, and watch as your life transforms in extraordinary ways. What if I told you that God has a unique way of protecting those He has chosen? That no matter how difficult the journey gets, there's a divine force guiding, shielding, and ensuring that they fulfill their purpose? Today, we're going to explore the powerful ways in which God watches over His chosen ones, how He stands between them and the challenges they face, often without them even realizing it. Perhaps you've experienced moments in your life where things could have gone wrong but didn't. Or times when you felt an unseen hand leading you out of danger or pushing you forward when everything seemed against you. These are no accidents. They are signs of God's divine protection. In this video, we'll reveal the truth behind this sacred shield, how it works, and how you can recognize it in your life. If you're ready to dive deeper into God's plan for His chosen ones and discover the strength He's placed around you, don't forget to subscribe. By joining our community, you'll stay connected to powerful insights that will inspire and uplift your spiritual journey. There's more ahead, and you won't want to miss it. The Bible tells us in Zechariah 2:8, "For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath He sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of His eye." Imagine that for a moment. You are the apple of God's eye, a precious treasured possession that He guards zealously. Just as a parent instinctively shields their child from harm, God is ever vigilant over you. His eyes are always upon you, and His presence surrounds you, even when you are unaware of it. Think about the depth of this statement. Being the apple of His eye implies that you are at the center of His focus and care. It is not a casual glance or a fleeting concern. God's attention to you is intense, deliberate, and filled with love. Just as the pupil of the eye is instinctively and reflexively protected, so too does God respond to any threat or harm that comes near His beloved children. This phrase reflects an intimacy and a closeness with God that goes beyond mere observation. It speaks of a deep, abiding love and a commitment to your well-being. Moreover, being the apple of God's eye means that He sees you through a lens of grace and mercy. He understands your struggles, your fears, and your pains. He is not a distant observer, but a compassionate Father who feels your hurts and rejoices in your victories. His protection is not just about preventing physical harm. It encompasses emotional, spiritual, and psychological care as well. He guards your heart against the wounds of this world, shielding you from despair and filling you with His peace. God's protection is also proactive, not just reactive. He prepares a path ahead of you, removing obstacles and providing guidance. He whispers to your spirit, nudging you away from choices that could lead to harm and toward those that will bring you closer to Him. His word acts as a lamp unto your feet, illuminating the way forward in times of darkness. Every day, in ways both seen and unseen, He is crafting a fortress around you, a spiritual hedge that no enemy can penetrate. This divine vigilance is not only a testament to His power, but also to His love. It is a reminder that you are never truly alone, never outside of His sight, and never beyond the reach of His caring hand. No matter where you go or what challenges you face, you are always, always the apple of His eye. Life is often a series of unanswered questions. There are moments when God's ways seem mysterious, when His plans are not immediately clear. You may find yourself in a season of waiting, uncertainty, or even suffering. It's in these times that the enemy seeks to sow seeds of doubt and fear, whispering lies that you are forgotten or forsaken. During these difficult seasons, it is easy to feel lost, as if you are wandering through a dark, endless tunnel without a light to guide your path. The weight of unanswered prayers and the silence of heaven can feel like a burden too heavy to bear. You may ask, where is God in all of this? Why is He allowing me to endure such pain? These are natural human responses to suffering. Yet it is precisely in these moments of uncertainty that our faith is tested and refined, much like gold is purified in the fire. God's ways may be beyond our understanding, but His love for us is unwavering. Even when we cannot see the full picture, He sees it perfectly. He knows the beginning from the end, and He is orchestrating every detail of our lives for a purpose that is far greater than we could ever imagine. Furthermore, these times of waiting and suffering are opportunities for us to strengthen our spiritual muscles. Just as physical muscles grow stronger through resistance and strain, our faith grows stronger when we learn to rely on God in the midst of trials. The enemy would have us believe that we are alone, that God has abandoned us. But Scripture reminds us otherwise. In Deuteronomy 31:6, God promises, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." His presence is constant, even when we cannot feel it. It is in the deepest valleys of our lives that we often encounter God in the most profound ways. When all else is stripped away, and we are left with nothing but our faith, we find that God is more than enough. He meets us in our brokenness, in our confusion, and in our pain, offering comfort and peace that surpasses all understanding. These are the moments when His grace is most evident, when His strength becomes our own, and when His love becomes the anchor for our souls. So, when you find yourself in a season of unanswered questions, remember this: God is still there. He is still working. He is still loving you with an everlasting love. And while you may not understand His ways now, there will come a day when all will be made clear. Until then, hold fast to His promises, trust in His goodness, lean into His grace, and know that even in the silence, even in the waiting, He is with you, guiding you, shaping you, and preparing you for a future filled with His hope and His glory. But how do we trust God when the storms of life rage around us? When we are faced with trials that seem insurmountable? When we are walking through a valley so dark that we cannot see the way forward? The answer lies in faith, a deep, abiding trust in the goodness and faithfulness of God, even when we do not understand His ways. Faith is more than just a belief. It is an unshakable confidence in God's character and His promises. It is the firm assurance that God is who He says He is, and that He will do what He has promised, even when our circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. This kind of faith requires us to look beyond what we can see with our physical eyes and focus on the unseen reality of God's presence and power. It is about choosing to believe that God is in control, that He is working all things for our good, even when the evidence around us seems to indicate the contrary. Consider the story of Peter walking on water in the midst of a storm. When Peter kept his eyes on Jesus, he was able to do the impossible. He walked on water. But the moment he took his eyes off Jesus and focused on the wind and waves around him, he began to sink. This story illustrates a powerful truth. The key to standing firm in the storm is keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus. When we focus on Him, rather than the circumstances surrounding us, we find the strength to keep going, to rise above the waves, and to move forward in faith. Furthermore, trusting God in difficult times is not a passive act. It is an active choice. It is about choosing to worship when we feel like worrying, choosing to pray when we feel like panicking, and choosing to declare God's promises over our lives when we feel like giving up. It means filling our minds and hearts with His Word, allowing His truth to drown out the lies of the enemy. It is in these moments of active faith that we draw closer to God and experience His presence in deeper, more intimate ways. In addition, faith is nurtured in community. Surrounding ourselves with other believers who can encourage us, pray with us, and remind us of God's promises is vital. There is strength in numbers, and when we are surrounded by a community of faith, we are less likely to succumb to fear and doubt. We are reminded that we are not alone, that others have walked this path before us, and that God is faithful to see us through. Ultimately, trusting God in the storms of life is about placing our hope in His sovereignty and His unfailing love. It is about believing that He is with us in the boat, calming the storm within us even if the storm around us continues to rage. It is about clinging to the truth that God is good, that He is in control, and that He will carry us safely to the other side. So even when the waves crash and the winds howl, hold on to your faith. Keep your eyes on Jesus, trust in His love, and know that He is with you every step of the way. Throughout Scripture, God has given us countless promises of His protection and provision. In Isaiah 43:2, He says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you. Notice that God does not say, if you pass through the waters, but when you pass through the waters. Trials are a part of life, but so is God's presence in the midst of them. This distinction is crucial. It reminds us that hardship and adversity are inevitable parts of the human experience. God never promises a life free from trouble. Rather, He promises His steadfast presence and unfailing support through every trial. The waters and fires mentioned in Isaiah 43:2 are not just metaphorical. They represent the overwhelming circumstances we all face, moments of deep distress, uncertainty, and fear. Yet God's assurance is not that we will avoid these difficulties, but that He will be with us through them, guiding us, holding us, and ensuring that we are not consumed by them. God's promises are not meant to suggest a life without pain, but a life where His presence transforms pain into purpose. When we pass through the waters, those turbulent times when we feel as if we are drowning under the weight of our burdens, He is there to lift us up, to sustain us. When we walk through the fire, those intense trials that threaten to burn away our hope and joy, He is our shield, ensuring that the flames refine rather than destroy us. His presence provides a protective barrier, a spiritual armor that shields us from ultimate harm. These promises also highlight God's intimate understanding of our human condition. He knows our fears, our weaknesses, and our tendency to despair when faced with adversity. He doesn't merely offer vague reassurances. He speaks directly to our most profound fears, promising not just survival, but safety in His presence. He knows that the waters and fires of life can make us feel vulnerable and exposed, but He assures us that we are never truly alone or unprotected. God's promises are both a source of comfort and a call to action. They comfort us in knowing that we are not alone in our struggles. At the same time, they call us to actively trust in His provision and to seek His presence in every circumstance. His promise is not a guarantee of a trouble-free life, but a life where His grace, mercy, and protection are constantly at work. As we pass through the waters and walk through the fire, we are called to remember that God is always at our side, making a way where there seems to be no way, and turning our trials into testimonies of His unending love and faithfulness. There is a profound peace that comes from learning to rest in God's sovereignty. To rest is not to be inactive, but rather to place your trust in God's perfect plan and timing. It is to release your need for control and surrender to the one who holds the universe in His hands. It is to believe that God is working all things together for your good, even when the outcome is not yet visible. Resting in God's sovereignty means acknowledging that His wisdom is far greater than ours. It is understanding that His perspective encompasses all of time and space, and that He sees the entirety of our lives, from beginning to end, while we see only a small part. When we rest in God's sovereignty, we trust that He knows what is best for us, even when we cannot comprehend it. It's about relinquishing our desires to dictate the terms of our lives and embracing the reality that God's plans are infinitely more beautiful and beneficial than anything we could imagine for ourselves. Resting in God's sovereignty is also a profound act of faith. It means choosing to see God's hand at work in every situation, even when the situation appears bleak. It means finding contentment in the waiting periods, knowing that God is using these times to mold us, to shape our character, and to prepare us for what lies ahead. Just as a farmer waits patiently for the seed to grow after planting, so too must we learn to wait for God's plans to unfold, trusting that every season has its purpose. Moreover, to rest in God's sovereignty is to find peace in His promises. The Bible is filled with assurances that God is in control, that He is working all things for the good of those who love Him. This truth allows us to release our grip on life and trust that He is orchestrating every detail according to His divine purpose. It's recognizing that our lives are not random or accidental, but carefully crafted by a loving Creator who has a plan for each of us. This rest also brings freedom. Freedom from the burden of trying to control outcomes or fix every problem. Freedom from the anxiety that comes from feeling like everything depends on us. When we rest in God's sovereignty, We are liberated from the need to have all the answers. We are free to live with a light heart, knowing that God is carrying the weight of our worries and guiding us along the path He has set before us. Ultimately, resting in God's sovereignty means trusting that He is good, that He is faithful, and that He is unchanging. It is a commitment to hold fast to His promises and to trust that He is working all things according to His perfect will, even when we cannot see the full picture. This rest brings a profound peace that transcends understanding, a peace that guards our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. It is a peace that comes from knowing that, come what may, our lives are securely held in the hands of a loving and sovereign God. Faith is not passive, it is active and alive. It requires a response. When you find yourself in a situation that seems impossible, choose to act in faith. Speak God's promises over your life. Declare His word over your circumstances. Refuse to give in to fear and doubt. Remember, faith is not the absence of fear. It is the courage to move forward in spite of it. Faith is a powerful force that transforms our lives and circumstances. It is not a mere wishful thinking or blind optimism, but a confident assurance in God's character and His promises. True faith compels us to step out of our comfort zones and take bold actions, even when we cannot see the entire path ahead. It is believing that God is who He says He is and will do what He has promised, regardless of our current situation or the challenges we face. Faith also involves speaking life into our circumstances. The Bible teaches us that the tongue has the power of life and death. By declaring God's promises over our lives, we align our words with His truth, allowing His power to flow through us. When we speak words of faith, we activate the spiritual authority that God has given us, and we set into motion the promises of God. This act of declaring His word is not just about positive thinking. It is about proclaiming the reality of God's kingdom over the temporary reality of our situation. Faith is also about taking practical steps that align with what we believe. If we are believing God for a breakthrough, we must prepare for it as though it is already on its way. For example, if we are praying for a job, we don't sit idly by. We update our resume, apply for positions, and prepare for interviews. If we are trusting God for healing, we speak words of health and wholeness over our bodies. We pursue wisdom in our lifestyle choices, and we may even seek medical counsel, all while trusting that ultimate healing comes from Him. Faith, therefore, is dynamic and involves our whole being, our thoughts, words, and actions. It calls us to be fully engaged, to step into the unknown with confidence, knowing that God is with us. It is about trusting God's promises more than we trust our fears. And even when fear and doubt arise, as they inevitably will, faith gives us the courage to keep moving forward, one step at a time, trusting that God is leading us, guiding us, and providing for us every step of the way. So when you face a mountain that seems too high to climb, remember that faith is the key to moving it. When you encounter a storm that threatens to capsize your boat, remember that faith is the anchor that holds you steady. And when you feel overwhelmed by the trials of life, remember that faith is the light that leads you out of the darkness. Choose to act in faith today. Trust in God's promises, declare His truth over your life, and move forward with the assurance that God is with you, guiding your steps and preparing the way. One of the most challenging aspects of faith is waiting on God's timing. We live in an instant gratification culture, but God operates on a different timeline. His timing is perfect, and He is never in a hurry. When you find yourself in a season of waiting, remember that God is not withholding from you, but preparing you for what lies ahead. There is a work being done in your character, in your spirit, and in your understanding of who God is. Waiting on God's timing requires patience and trust, two qualities that are often in short supply in our fast-paced world. In a society where we are accustomed to quick fixes and immediate results, waiting can feel frustrating and even painful. We want our prayers answered now, our problems solved today, and our dreams fulfilled tomorrow. Yet God's process is often slower and more deliberate. designed to accomplish more profound and lasting changes in our lives. The waiting period is not a time of inactivity, but rather a critical time of preparation, growth, and transformation. During these seasons of waiting, God is shaping our hearts and refining our spirits. Just as gold is refined in the fire, so too are our faith and character, refined through periods of waiting and uncertainty. God uses these times to strip away our dependence on things that are not of Him and to deepen our reliance on His strength and provision. It is in the waiting that we learn to trust God's goodness, even when we don't understand His methods or see immediate results. Waiting also fosters gratitude. When we finally receive what we have been praying for, after a period of waiting, we appreciate it more deeply. We recognize it as a gift from God, not something we earned or achieved on our own. The joy of receiving is amplified because it is coupled with the growth and maturity that developed during the waiting period. This gratitude further enriches our relationship with God, as we see more clearly His hand at work in our lives. Ultimately, waiting on God is an exercise in trusting His character. It is about believing that God is good, that He is for us, and that His plans for us are better than anything we could plan for ourselves. It is about surrendering our timeline to His and believing that He knows the desires of our hearts better than we do. It is about resting in the assurance that those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. This kind of waiting is not passive but active, filled with hope and expectation, knowing that in God's perfect timing, all things will come to pass for our good and His glory. So, when you find yourself in a season of waiting, do not be discouraged. Remember that God is at work, both in the seen and unseen, crafting something beautiful out of your waiting. Trust that He is preparing you for something greater than you could ever imagine, and that in His time, He will fulfill His promises to you in ways that far exceed your expectations. As we've explored today, God's protection over His chosen ones is profound, intimate, and unwavering. He guards us not just from physical dangers, but also from the unseen forces that seek to harm our souls. His love surrounds us like a shield, and His promises are a refuge we can always run to. Whether you are walking through a season of joy or facing a storm that feels unending, remember this: God is with you. He sees you. He values you as the apple of His eye. Trust in His protection and lean into His promises. When you feel alone or overwhelmed, turn to His word and remind yourself that He is your deliverer and your strength. His plans for you are good, and He is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. Take a moment to reflect on the ways God has been faithful to you in the past, and let that give you confidence for the future. Know that as one of His chosen, you are under His divine covering. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So, stand firm in your faith, hold on to His promises, and let His peace, which surpasses all understanding, guard your heart and mind. Thank you for joining us today. If this message has touched your heart, please like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear this truth. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more encouraging content like this. Let us know in the comments how God has protected you or what topics you'd like us to cover in future videos. Remember, you are loved, you are chosen, and you are always under God's mighty protection. Stay blessed, and see you in the next video. At this very moment, you might feel a tingling sense of curiosity, or even an overwhelming sense of resonance with what you are about to hear. You've never quite fit in, have you? You've walked a path that feels different, one that doesn't seem to align with the lives of those around you. People may have seen you as peculiar, and you've often wondered why certain experiences gravitate towards you while others seem untouched by the invisible forces shaping your life. But the truth is, nothing has been accidental. There's a reason why you've stumbled across this message, and it goes deeper than coincidence. This is the moment you were destined to encounter because you are a chosen one. You've always felt it, a quiet knowing, a gentle pull, This message has found you at exactly the right time because your soul is ready. Ready to remember the sacred contract you signed long before you were born. A contract that holds the key to unlocking your immense, unseen power. Every struggle you faced, every moment of joy and pain, has not been random. Each step has been a part of a grand design, a carefully crafted path, guiding you toward your awakening. Today, we will dive deep into understanding this contract, your soul contract, and uncover the vast, divine potential waiting to be activated within you. If this message resonates with you, it's not by chance. The universe is speaking directly to you, reminding you of the power you hold within. You are here to do something extraordinary, so stay with me until the very end, and together, we will embark on a journey that will change the course of your life. Before you entered this world, your soul entered into a sacred agreement with Source, a divine contract that would define not only your life's purpose, but also the vast untapped power that you carry within. This contract was not written on paper, nor signed with ink. It is far more profound, woven into the very essence of your being, encoded within your soul's blueprint. In the physical world, contracts are tangible, legally binding agreements. However, your soul contract transcends this realm. It is a spiritual vow, a promise made with the divine, defining your role in both your personal journey and the collective evolution of humanity. The moment you signed this contract, you agreed to a life of challenges, triumphs, moments of profound joy, and intense sorrow, all orchestrated to prepare you for the ultimate awakening of your true power. This sacred agreement explains the deep sense of otherness you've always felt, the feeling that you are walking a path few can understand. It explains the synchronicities that seem too perfect to be mere coincidence, the magnetic pull you feel towards certain people, places, and events. These are not accidents. They are subtle reminders from Source, guiding you back to the purpose you set for yourself before you incarnated into this physical existence. Each person you meet, each event you experience, no matter how brief or seemingly insignificant, plays a role in fulfilling your soul contract. The people who challenge you, the circumstances that stretch you to your limits, they are all part of a divine plan, designed to help you grow, evolve, and step into the immense power that is your birthright. This journey is not just about your personal growth, it's far grander than that. You are playing a role in the cosmic mission, a mission that spans lifetimes, dimensions, and realities. Your challenges are not random. They are deliberate, placed on your path to refine your abilities and awaken the dormant power within you. The contract you signed is both a map and a key, guiding you toward the realization of your purpose and unlocking the vast, unseen power that has been waiting to be fully activated. As you walk this path, the universe speaks to you in whispers, offering guidance in the form of signs, synchronicities, and intuitive nudges. Many people dismiss these as mere coincidences, but as a chosen one, you know better. You've likely noticed patterns in your life. Certain numbers appearing repeatedly, significant events aligning in inexplicable ways, or moments of profound clarity that seem to come out of nowhere. These are not random occurrences. They are the universe's way of nudging you toward the remembrance of your soul contract. Synchronicities are the universe's love language. They are gentle confirmations that you are aligned with your soul's purpose, that the choices you are making and the direction you are headed are in harmony with the divine plan. Have you ever thought about someone only for them to call or text moments later? Or have you experienced déjà vu, as if you've been here before? These are subtle reminders of the interconnectedness of your existence. The threads of your soul contract, weaving themselves into the fabric of your daily life. But it goes even deeper. As you awaken to your true power, you may find that your intuition is becoming stronger, more finely tuned. You start to just know things without logical explanation. You feel drawn to certain people or experiences, even if you don't fully understand why. This is your higher self, the part of you that is eternally connected to Source, guiding you toward the next step in your journey. The awakening of your true power is a gradual process, often beginning in subtle ways. You may start to notice an increased sensitivity to the energies around you, an ability to sense when something is off, or a pull toward spiritual practices that help you connect with your higher self. This is no accident. Your soul is guiding you back to the path you agreed to walk before you were born. The more you trust these feelings, the more clearly you will hear the whispers of the universe. Recognizing these signs is the first step toward unlocking your full potential. They are the universe's way of communicating with you, reminding you of the power you hold and the purpose you came here to fulfill. As you deepen your awareness of these signs, you will begin to see them more frequently, each one acting as a stepping stone on the path to your ultimate awakening. Within you lies a power so vast and so profound that it transcends the physical realm. This power is not external. It is not something you need to seek out in the world around you. It has always been within you, waiting patiently to be awakened. But here's the secret. Awakening this power is not an instantaneous event. It unfolds gradually as you walk your path, face your trials, and learn who you truly are at the deepest level. At the core of this awakening is self-awareness. To truly unlock the power within, you must first recognize that you are not limited by the constraints of the physical world. As a chosen one, you operate on a higher spiritual frequency, one that allows you to access the unseen forces of the universe. This means you have the ability to influence energy, manifest your desires, and co-create with the divine. You may have already experienced glimpses of this power, moments when your thoughts seem to directly shape your reality, when opportunities present themselves at just the right time, or when you feel an undeniable sense of alignment with the universe. These are not anomalies. They are signs that your power is awakening. However, with great power comes great responsibility. The universe has entrusted you with this gift because it knows you are capable of using it wisely. This power is not meant to be wielded for selfish purposes or to manipulate others. It is a sacred gift, meant to be used for healing, creation, and elevation, both of yourself and the world around you. To fully awaken the vast power within you, the key lies in aligning yourself with Source, the infinite, all-encompassing energy that permeates every corner of creation. Source is not some distant or external force. It is the very essence of existence, the foundational energy from which everything in the universe is born. It is the life force that flows through the stars, the planets, the earth, and most importantly, through you. This process of alignment requires a deep level of self-awareness. It is not simply about external practices or rituals, although those can certainly help. The true work lies in knowing yourself at the core, understanding your soul's unique desires, and becoming aware of the patterns, fears, and illusions that might be blocking the flow of Source energy. To align with Source, you must strip away the layers of ego and conditioning that have accumulated over time. This is not an easy task, as it requires honesty and vulnerability. You must confront parts of yourself that you may have hidden or denied, and learn to embrace your authentic self with compassion and love. As you continue on this journey of self-discovery, you will begin to see that the power you seek has always been within you. It has never been something external, nor something you need to earn or achieve. It is an inherent part of who you are, a vast, unseen force that resides in the depths of your being, waiting patiently to be unlocked and harnessed. The more you let go of the need to control or manipulate your life's direction, the more you will realize that everything you need to awaken this power is already present within you. When you signed your soul contract with Source, you didn't just agree to the joyful moments or the ease that would come with unlocking your power. You also agreed to face challenges, obstacles that would test the very limits of your endurance, patience, and spiritual strength. These challenges, while difficult, are not imposed upon you. They are not punishments from the universe. Rather, they are opportunities for growth, carefully placed on your path to help you awaken to the fullness of your potential. One of the most profound challenges you will face is isolation. This isn't the typical solitude that everyone experiences at times. It is a deeper sense of separation, a feeling that the people around you cannot understand the weight of your journey or the depth of your soul. You may feel like an outsider, not because you are different in a superficial sense, but because your soul operates on a higher frequency, one that not everyone can resonate with. This isolation can lead to moments of profound loneliness. You may question your place in the world and wonder if anyone else truly grasps the scope of your existence. However, this isolation is not a curse. It is a necessary part of your spiritual journey. It forces you to look inward, to cultivate a stronger connection with Source, and to develop the inner strength needed to fulfill your soul contract. Another challenge you will likely face is the experience of setbacks. Just when you think you've gained momentum, life may throw a curveball your way, disrupting your plans and causing you to question whether you're truly on the right path. These setbacks are not random occurrences. They are deliberate and purposeful tests designed to build your resilience and strengthen your spiritual muscles. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to refine your abilities and grow closer to your ultimate awakening. By embracing these challenges with courage and grace, you will develop the strength needed to wield the immense power that lies within you. You will come to understand that the struggles you face are not roadblocks, but stepping stones on your path to mastery. At the heart of your soul contract is a cosmic mission, a purpose that extends beyond your personal life and into the collective evolution of the universe. When you agreed to this mission, you made a commitment not only to yourself, but to all of creation. This mission is unique to you, shaped by your gifts, your experiences, and the lessons you are meant to share with the world. Your mission may not always be clear, especially in the early stages of your awakening. You may feel a sense of purpose without knowing exactly what it is, or you may struggle to understand how your experiences fit into the larger picture. But as you continue to grow and evolve, the pieces of the puzzle will begin to fall into place. This mission is not about external validation, fame, or fortune. It is about service. Service to the universe, to humanity, and to the divine. It is about using your gifts to elevate others, to bring light into the world, and to contribute to the collective awakening of consciousness. Your cosmic mission may involve healing, teaching, creating, or simply being a beacon of light for others to follow. Whatever form it takes, it is a sacred calling that only you can fulfill. And as you continue to walk this path, you will begin to see how your challenges, your gifts, and your soul contract are all interconnected, leading you toward the fulfillment of your mission. One of the most crucial aspects of fulfilling your soul contract is learning to align yourself with the energy of Source. This is the energy of creation itself, the infinite flow of divine love and wisdom that permeates all of existence. When you align with this energy, you tap into the limitless power of the universe, allowing it to flow through you and guide your every step. Alignment with Source is not something that can be forced. It is a natural state of being that arises when you live in harmony with your true self and your soul's purpose. You will know you are in alignment when life begins to flow effortlessly, when synchronicities and opportunities appear at just the right time, and when you feel a deep sense of peace and clarity. To maintain this alignment, it is essential to cultivate practices that keep you connected to your higher self and the divine. Meditation, prayer, and mindfulness are powerful tools that can help you attune to the energy of Source and maintain your alignment. These practices quiet the noise of the external world and allow you to tune into the subtle vibrations of the universe. Another important aspect of aligning with Source is learning to let go of resistance. As a chosen one, you may feel a strong desire to control the outcome of your life, to make things happen according to your own timeline. However, true alignment with Source requires surrendering to the divine plan. This does not mean giving up on your dreams, but rather trusting that the universe knows what is best for you and will guide you toward the fulfillment of your soul contract in its own perfect timing. As a chosen one, you are far more than a mere bystander or passive participant in the grand tapestry of the universe. You are an active co-creator, a powerful being working in constant partnership with the divine to shape not only your reality, but also the greater fabric of existence itself. The role you play is deeply profound, for you possess the extraordinary ability to manifest your desires, dreams, and purpose into physical form, aligning with the energy of creation to bring forth new possibilities into the world. This power to co-create is not something given to you by external forces. It does not come from society, other people, or even a religious authority. Instead, it emerges from within you, springing from the deepest parts of your soul. It is an innate gift, a natural extension of your essence, and it is activated through your direct and intimate connection to Source, the infinite creative force that flows through all things. Source, sometimes called the divine, God, the universe, or the cosmic consciousness, is the ultimate energy behind creation, and as a chosen one, you are intrinsically connected to this boundless power. You are not separate from the universe. You are a vital part of it. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every intention you set carries an energetic frequency that resonates with the field of creation. When you fully realize this, you understand that your reality is not something that merely happens to you. You are not a victim of circumstance, nor are you at the mercy of life's unpredictability. Instead, you are a deliberate architect of your own experience. You have the power to influence the events, opportunities, and relationships that manifest in your life. This creative power begins with your thoughts and intentions. Every thought you have is a form of energy. Whether conscious or unconscious, your thoughts emit a vibration that interacts with the quantum field, the invisible web of energy that connects all things. When you focus your mind on a desire or goal with clarity and conviction, you send out energetic signals that the universe responds to. The clearer and more focused your thoughts and intentions, the stronger the energy you project into the world, and the more quickly your reality begins to shift in response. As you continue to evolve and embrace your role as a co-creator, you will come to realize that there are no limits to what you can achieve when you are aligned with Source. The power within you is limitless, a direct reflection of the infinite creative force that birthed the cosmos. You are here to create miracles, to shape a reality that is in harmony with your soul's deepest desires, and to contribute to the collective evolution of humanity. This is the sacred role you have been called to fulfill, and the universe is supporting you every step of the way. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this: you are a chosen one. The power you hold within is vast, unseen, and waiting to be fully realized. Your soul contract with Source is a testament to the higher purpose you are here to fulfill, and the universe is constantly working with you, guiding you, and supporting you on your path. Every challenge you face, every moment of joy, and every experience you encounter is a stepping stone toward your ultimate awakening. By aligning with the energy of Source, embracing your role as a co-creator, and trusting in the divine plan, you will unlock the immense power that has always been within you. Now take a moment to reflect on everything you've learned. Trust in your soul contract, trust in your purpose, and know that the universe is waiting for you to fully step into your greatness. If you made it this far, you are truly connected to your purpose. Like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment with the number 77 to send a signal to the universe that you are ready to unlock your full potential. Remember, the universe is always working in your favor. You are powerful beyond measure. Embrace it, trust in yourself, and keep walking your divine path. The universe is waiting for you. Have you ever wondered if you're one of the chosen ones? Those called to a higher purpose in these final days? Do you feel a deep stirring in your spirit, as if you've been set apart for something greater, but aren't quite sure what lies ahead? Being chosen by God is an incredible honor, but it comes with challenges, tests that every chosen one must face. These tests can be difficult, but they are essential for preparing you to walk fully in God's purpose. What are these tests? How do you know if you're passing them? And more importantly, How can you make sure you are truly aligned with God's calling for your life in these crucial times? In today's video, we're going to dive into the 4 specific tests that every chosen one must pass to be used by God. By understanding and overcoming these challenges, you'll be able to move forward with confidence, knowing that God is refining and equipping you for His divine mission. Before we get started, if you're seeking to grow deeper in your spiritual journey and want to uncover more wisdom like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update as we explore these powerful truths together. Now let's get started with the first test, the test of faith. The first and perhaps most fundamental test every chosen one must pass is the test of faith. This test goes far beyond simply believing in God's existence. It is about cultivating an unshakable faith that remains steadfast even when everything around you is falling apart. This kind of faith is not a surface-level belief that wavers in the face of trials, but a deep, abiding trust in God that endures through all circumstances. When life situations seem to directly contradict God's promises, when prayers go unanswered, dreams are delayed, or unexpected hardships arise, it is in these challenging seasons that God works to build a rock-solid faith within us. This is a faith that is not dependent on what we see, feel, or hear, but is anchored solely in His Word and His unchanging nature. The test of faith often involves a journey into the unknown, where God calls us to step out of our comfort zones and into a place of total reliance on Him. It is a journey where the path ahead is unclear and the usual markers of progress are absent. Here, God strips away our reliance on earthly securities, such as finances, relationships, and health, forcing us to confront the reality of whether our trust truly rests in Him or in the comforts of this world. This test challenges us to trust God's character and promises even when we have no visible evidence to support that trust. Consider the story of Abraham, who is often referred to as the father of faith. God promised Abraham that he would become the father of many nations, yet he and his wife, Sarah, were childless and well beyond childbearing years. Despite this apparent impossibility, Abraham believed God's promise. His faith was tested over many years of waiting, but he did not waver in unbelief. Instead, he grew stronger in faith, fully persuaded that God had the power to do what He had promised. It is this kind of unyielding faith that persists despite overwhelming odds, that God desires to cultivate in each of us. The test of faith is not about having all the answers or understanding every aspect of God's plan. Instead, it is about trusting in God's goodness, His faithfulness, and His sovereign control over every detail of our lives. It is about holding on to His promises when everything else tells us to let go. When we face situations that make us question His presence or His promises, such as a devastating loss, a prolonged illness, or a season of financial hardship, our faith is being refined and purified. In these moments, we learn to trust God not because of what He does, but because of who He is. This test also reveals the true nature of our faith. Is it based on circumstances, or is it rooted in a deep relationship with God? When the storms of life hit, it becomes evident whether our foundation is built on the shifting sands of external conditions or the solid rock of Christ's promises. As it says in Hebrews 11:1, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Faith goes beyond our natural understanding and senses. It is the spiritual assurance of things unseen and the confidence that God's word is true, no matter what. When you find yourself in a season where your faith is being tested, it can feel overwhelming, even isolating at times. But remember, these moments are not without purpose. God is at work within you, shaping and refining your heart. He is strengthening your trust, deepening your reliance on Him, and preparing you for the incredible plans He has for your life. Just as gold is refined through fire, so too is your spirit being purified and strengthened through trials. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow in faith, to learn the art of surrender, and to discover a deeper relationship with God. Embrace this test of faith with open arms, knowing that through it, you are being transformed. You are becoming a steadfast and immovable follower of Christ, someone who can weather the storms of life with unwavering hope. Through these trials, God is equipping you for every good work He has prepared. He is building in you the strength and resilience necessary to fulfill your divine purpose. Trust in His process, for He is faithful, and in due time, you will reap the harvest of your perseverance, stronger, wiser, and more deeply rooted in Him than ever before. The second critical test every chosen one must face is the test of time and patience. This test pushes us to trust in God's perfect timing rather than our own, which can be incredibly challenging in a world that craves instant results and quick fixes. In today's fast-paced society, where everything is available at the click of a button and waiting is often seen as a sign of weakness or inefficiency, learning to wait on God can feel counterintuitive and even painful. Yet, this is precisely why the test of time is so vital. It cultivates within us the essential virtue of patience, teaching us to lean not on our own understanding, but on God's infinite wisdom and flawless timing. This test of waiting is not simply about enduring hardships or surviving challenging times. It is far more profound than that. It is a divine opportunity, an invitation to grow in trust, to deepen our relationship with God, and to allow our character to be refined in ways that only the waiting process can bring. In these seasons of delay, we are being stretched and shaped, learning what it truly means to depend on God's timing rather than our own desires or expectations. Waiting on God with a patient and open heart allows us to step back from the urgency of our immediate circumstances and see the broader perspective of God's divine orchestration. It teaches us a crucial spiritual truth: that God's delays are not denials. They are not signs that He has abandoned us or that our prayers have gone unheard. Instead, they are part of a far greater plan, a meticulous preparation for the purpose He has in store for us. It is through this period of waiting that we are given the chance to grow, not only in faith but in wisdom and resilience as well. Think of it like the planting of a seed. Before a seed can ever become a thriving plant, it must first be buried in the soil. It must go through a period of growth in the hidden darkness, a quiet, unseen process of transformation that takes time and cannot be rushed. In the same way, we often must go through these hidden seasons of waiting, where it feels as though nothing is happening, and we are buried beneath the weight of uncertainty. Yet it is during this very time that God is at work, nurturing our spirit, growing our faith, and preparing us for what is to come. This period of waiting is sacred. It is where our spiritual roots grow deeper, where our dependence on God becomes stronger, and where our inner life is nurtured. It is where we are shaped into the person God has called us to be, strong, steadfast, and ready for the next season. Without this period of waiting, we would not be equipped to handle the fullness of the blessings or the responsibilities that come with God's plans for us. Just as the seed must first be transformed in the darkness before it can sprout and thrive in the light, we too must trust that our waiting is purposeful, that we are being prepared in ways we may not yet understand. The third test that every chosen one must face is the test of rejection for righteousness. This test is perhaps one of the most painful, but also one of the most spiritually refining experiences. In a world where moral relativism is increasingly the norm, standing firm in God's standards of holiness and righteousness often comes with a significant cost. We live in a time where right and wrong are often seen as subjective, and where upholding absolute truths can make you a target for criticism, misunderstanding, and even isolation. Yet the call to follow Christ is not a call to conform to the world, but to be set apart, to live in a way that honors God's truth, even when it is unpopular. Choosing to uphold God's principles in a culture that frequently promotes the opposite can be incredibly challenging and uncomfortable. It may mean standing alone in your convictions, being misunderstood, sidelined, or even outright rejected by friends, family, or society because of your commitment to living according to God's ways. Jesus himself warned that following him would come with opposition. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. This rejection is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a consequence of standing for righteousness in a world that often rejects the light. This test is more than just an external trial. It is a deeply personal one. The test of rejection for righteousness challenges not only your faith, but also your identity. It asks, are you willing to stand firm in your faith, even when it costs you the approval of others? It invites you to examine where your true allegiance lies. Is it with God, or is it with the fleeting opinions of man? This test forces you to seek a deeper relationship with God, to find your validation in Him alone, rather than in the acceptance of those around you. It is in the fire of rejection that God often refines our spirits, teaching us to lean solely on Him for our strength, our comfort, and our sense of belonging. Through this test, we are reminded that our identity is not rooted in how the world perceives us, but in how God sees us. His love, His approval, and His truth are what define us. Rejection for righteousness is a painful but powerful invitation to grow closer to God, to anchor ourselves in His unchanging love, and to rise above the need for worldly affirmation. Moreover, this test serves to deepen our understanding of Christ's own journey. Jesus was the ultimate example of someone who was rejected for righteousness' sake. He lived a perfect, sinless life, yet He was scorned, mocked, and crucified by the very people He came to save. When we face rejection for choosing to live according to God's standards, we are sharing in Christ's suffering. But in that suffering, there is a profound blessing. Jesus Himself said, "Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." This rejection, though painful, aligns us with the very heart of God and His kingdom. So while this test may be one of the most difficult to endure, it is also one of the most spiritually significant. In choosing righteousness over acceptance, we are not only growing in our relationship with God, but we are also preparing ourselves for the greater plans and purposes He has in store for us. We are learning to walk the narrow path, the path that leads to life, even when it is hard and lonely. In the midst of rejection, let us remember that we are never truly alone. God is with us, and He honors those who honor Him. The world may turn its back on you, but God's love remains constant, unwavering, and full of grace. Standing firm in righteousness, though it may come at a cost, is ultimately the path that leads to true fulfillment and eternal reward in God's kingdom. The fourth and final test every chosen one must endure is the wilderness experience, a profound spiritual journey that requires not only endurance, but transformation. This test is not just about surviving adversity, but about growing through what you go through. It is where hardship is turned into spiritual maturity, where challenges become opportunities for deepening your faith and discovering who you truly are in God. Just as Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tested and prepared for His ministry, so too will God lead His chosen ones into their own wilderness seasons. This test can take many forms: periods of isolation, financial hardship, the loss of a loved one, illness, a crisis of faith, or other deeply challenging circumstances that strip us down to our very core. It is in these moments that we are often forced to confront our deepest fears, insecurities, and even the parts of ourselves that we'd rather ignore. In the wilderness, there is nowhere to hide. It is a place where all the distractions and comforts of life are removed, leaving you face to face with yourself and God. For many, the wilderness can feel like abandonment. You may wonder, where is God? Why am I going through this? But in truth, the wilderness is a place of profound divine purpose. It is not punishment, but preparation. Just as Jesus fasted and prayed for 40 days, battling temptation and enduring the harshness of the desert, God uses the wilderness to test, strengthen, and refine us. It is in the wilderness that we learn to rely on Him completely. When all else is stripped away, we are left with the realization that God is enough. It is in this space of raw vulnerability that He does some of His deepest work within us. The wilderness is a season of spiritual purification. In this barren place, God allows us to face trials that reveal the impurities in our hearts, the doubts, fears, pride, and self-reliance that we often carry unnoticed. As we journey through this challenging phase, God invites us to surrender these burdens, to let go of the things that hold us back from living fully in His purpose. Through this process, we are transformed from within, becoming more aligned with His will and more dependent on His strength. Though it is painful, this period of testing is where some of the most powerful transformations take place. Like the Israelites who wandered in the desert for 40 years, this spiritual desert becomes a time of faith building. The Israelites had to learn to trust God day by day, relying on Him for manna, water, and guidance. It was through their trials that they were molded into a nation ready to enter the Promised Land. Similarly, in our own difficult seasons, God teaches us to trust Him, to depend on His provision, and to follow His lead, even when the path ahead seems unclear. One of the most important lessons in this testing ground is that God is always present, even when we feel alone. In these desolate periods when it seems like the heavens are silent, God is working in ways we cannot see. He is stretching our faith, deepening our relationship with Him, and preparing us for what lies ahead. Just as Jesus emerged from His time in the wilderness empowered by the Spirit to begin His ministry, so too will we emerge from these trials stronger, wiser, and more spiritually mature, ready to step into the next phase of our calling. This period also teaches us patience and endurance. In a world that craves instant gratification, these moments force us to slow down, to wait, and to trust in God's timing. It's a time where we must learn to be still, to seek God in the quiet, and to understand that He is preparing us for something far greater than we can imagine. We learn to rely not on our own understanding but on God's wisdom, and through that trust, we discover the beauty of surrender. Furthermore, these trials prepare us to become more compassionate and empathetic toward others. As we endure our own challenges and experience God's comfort and provision, we become more equipped to comfort and encourage those who are going through similar struggles. These experiences are not just about personal growth, but about equipping us to be vessels of God's love and grace to others. Ultimately, this journey is about transformation. It is the refining fire that prepares us for our divine purpose. While this phase may feel like a place of loss, it is actually a place of gain, where we develop spiritual strength, clarity, and a deeper connection to God. Through it, we come to understand that God's plans for us are far greater than the temporary struggles we face, and that He is faithful to lead us out when the time is right. As difficult as these seasons can be, they are essential parts of every chosen one's journey. Without them, we would not be fully prepared for the greater blessings and responsibilities that God has for us. These trials strip away everything we don't need, leaving us with a heart that is fully surrendered to God, a faith that is unshakable, and a spirit that is ready to fulfill His calling. So, if you find yourself in this season of hardship, remember this: God is with you, shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a deeper, more powerful chapter. When you emerge, you will be transformed, equipped for every good work that God has prepared for you, and ready to step into the fullness of your calling. As we come to the end of today's powerful exploration, we've uncovered the 4 crucial tests that every chosen one must pass to be used mightily by God in these last days. Each of these tests is a divine opportunity to grow closer to God, to refine our character, and to strengthen our spiritual foundation. They are not meant to break us, but to build us, to prepare us for the incredible plans God has for our lives. If you are going through one of these tests right now, take heart. Know that God is with you, guiding you through each step of the journey. Remember that these tests are part of His process to equip you fully for His purpose. Embrace them with courage and faith, knowing that through them, You are being shaped into a vessel fit for the Master's use. Before you go, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos that will continue to empower and guide you on your spiritual journey. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and share it with others who might need this encouragement. We'd also love to hear from you. Share your thoughts, experiences, and testimonies in the comments below. Your story could be the encouragement someone else needs today. Thank you for being part of our community. Together, let's continue to grow in faith, walk boldly in God's calling, and become the chosen ones He has destined us to be. Until next time, stay blessed and keep pressing on in your journey with God.